What's up, Chicago? Welcome to another episode of the Bare Minimum. This is 4 Star Chicago Sports. I'm excited, man. We got a lot to talk about tonight, even though it's dead for sports season. But we had the NBA draft. We got some Caleb stuff to discuss, Brandon. We got a movie review we want to do as well, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. And we're gonna do our way too early, way too unresearched, bare minimum style, no homework, off the hip power rankings for the NFL. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. We're glad you're here with us. Please stick around. Let's have a fucking awesome time tonight, man. Bare minimum. 4 Star Chicago. Brandon, what up, bro?
What's going on, man? I think it's
Brandon,
funny, man. We woke up this morning like, what are we gonna do for an hour and a half on this show? And by like as of an hour ago, I was like, how the hell are we gonna fit this all into an hour and a half show, man? Leave
yeah,
it to us.
yeah, man, and it's late night too, so we're gonna be on here till 2 in the morning probably. If you guys are with us, stick with us. I already see John S. and Vizzo Joe. What up, fellas?
What's going
You
on,
guys have
guys?
been loyal to the bare minimum. We appreciate you being here. Hit that like button if you have not already. We got a lot of shit to get into, and it's going to be a lot of fun, man. So, where do you want to start? You want to start with this Caleb thing? I have not. I got to tell you, man. You sent me this article. I did not read it. I've been working and dealing with the baby all day. I literally just put the baby to sleep like right before I jumped on here with you. So, like, break
Don't
it
worry about
down
it.
for me a little bit. Break it
Yeah,
down for us a little bit, and then we'll get into it.
I'll get you up to speed. So the NFL had a kind of behind the scenes hearing, if you will, where the Players Association was accusing the ownership of colluding into preventing players from getting fully guaranteed contracts. Now, this was specific to quarterbacks, former first round picks, guys that were going to get the 200, $300 million contracts in moving forward in the future.
Hmm.
And the NFL owners all stated, no, there's no collusion here. So an arbiter had to do an investigation, and there's three measures of criteria for collusion,
Collusion.
which they don't actually list. So that's the one. Probably after I was reading this article, I was like, wait, where are the other two? But he did
Let's
say
see.
he found evidence of one, which is some of these owners were kind of texting one another. Like it was after Kyler Murray had received his contract, the Arizona Cardinals GM received a text from, I can't remember, I'm looking for it now, man, from another GM, owner Michael Bidwell, after negotiations, who claims he doesn't remember the specifics, received a text from a general manager stating, "Good job on the Murray deal. That Deshaun Watson deal really hurt us." So, I mean, this is an NFL GM telling an owner like, "Yeah, we gotta try to stay away from these
Let me
guaranteed."
keep. You're gonna keep going, but let me stop you on a couple things because there's a couple thoughts that are popping in my head that I think are
Yeah,
pertinent to this
shoot.
conversation. First of all, I just looked up the key criteria. Say that shit 5 times fast. The three key criteria for collusion: high market concentration, homogeneous products, and stable demand and or excess capacity. Now, if you could look up what homogeneous means.
Just a chain of Google searches. Yeah.
All right, so
Um,
but the guaranteed contract thing, man, is a huge deal in the NFL. You look at the NBA, you look at the MLB. These guys are guaranteed their money when they sign their deals, and they play a much less physical sport. It's always been an issue to me, man, and it should and will eventually go to where the NFL is guaranteeing these contracts. But when you see guys like Lamar Jackson push for that guaranteed money, and no teams go out and sign him, right? That's collusion. I thought of that when you're talking about this, right? Deals like the Kirk Cousins deal that happened with the fully guaranteed money to Minnesota, deals like the one you're talking about with Deshaun Watson. NFL hates seeing that because then it leads to a trend and then there's a precedent set. So you are 100% correct in saying like these NFL owners are 100% colluding to not get into the guaranteed money because it's a good way for them to save money on these contracts where they can get out of it after 2 years, or if there's an injury or something like that, they really do their players wrong in that regard, in my mind. And so I want to hear what else is coming up from this article, because I'm curious to see if it's leading in the right direction for the players who make the NFL, by the way. The NFL is not anything without the players. They should have guaranteed contracts. Just want to give that input at this point of what you're
Right.
saying.
They sell the product. They should get the commission.
They are the product. They are the league. Yes.
So there's the NFLPA claim that the owners, the league, it says clubs, I'll say ownership, violated Article 17 of the CBA, the anti-collusion section, which prohibits clubs and its employees from entering into an agreement, express or implied, with the league or another club with its employees concerning the terms or conditions offered to a player in a contract. So basically, one team cannot speak to another in regards to how much they're going to give.
Let's set the market and keep it here so that it doesn't go high for me and it doesn't go high for you, and we can stay on top while we keep them down here. That's basically what you're talking about, correct?
And as far as the arbiter found, there was no, during the discussions, there was no express or implications that one team was telling another how to handle a contract. But after the signing of contracts, owners were indeed texting other owners like, "Hey, good for you. Way to keep the cap down," basically on these guaranteed contracts. So
it seems to be being encouraged.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. And then it even went all the way up to Roger Goodell, where Roger Goodell was sent an email, and he replied to the email. So I'll say Pash wrote, per the decision, in the past 2 years, the very top players received large guarantees, but the management council wouldn't have a better sense of whether the large guarantees are extending further into the free agent pool until the next tier of players are signed. He wrote, "It's something that we will want to discuss on both the football ops sessions and with the owners as well." Roger Goodell replied to this email, "Agreed, but the tip of the market is the most of the dollars, and we will wait to see how it falls. If it will be too late to counter. Agree with raising a big concern that this will erode a key aspect of our CBA that resisted guaranteed money except as clubs determined on their own." So resisted guaranteed money. So he left Goodell's not an idiot, man. I'm sure he knows,
well, none of these guys are.
Yeah.
None of these guys
So
are when it comes to money.
He left it very gray, but then I said, like I told you, after the Deshaun Watson signing, teams had basically general managers had spoke to one another about how after that, like the Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, not because Lamar Jackson ended up not signing for a fully guaranteed.
Owners were pissed when the Browns gave that deal.
And they were pissed. And they were pissed.
People hated Haslam.
At
Haslam, the owner of the Browns. Yeah, like, why would you do this? Think of the precedent you're setting and what we're gonna have to do. And then Lamar saw that and he wanted to get in on it, and like rightfully so, because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And there was collusion in terms of him finding a suitor to take him on if the Ravens weren't going to pay him. So, yeah, I mean, this has happened in the NFL for a long time. Do you got more that you have to get to here, Brandon, from that?
Yeah, well, real quick. So, per Jeroni's decision, Jeroni is the guy, the arbiter. So he says,
Jeroni.
Dean's Los Angeles Chargers owner, Dean Spanos, texted Bidwell, who is the Arizona Cardinals,
yeah.
To congratulate him on the Kyler Murray signing and let him know that the parameters of the contract, not fully guaranteed, would help Spanos with his upcoming negotiations with Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert.
So this is his second contract that Murray signed, not his rookie deal, correct?
Yeah, and then it says, I think many teams will be happy with it once they have a chance to review. Cleveland really screwed things up, but I was resolved to keep the guaranteed relatively low, Bidwell said in the text exchange in response. So to Spanos. So, like I said, the arbiter says that there is some evidence of one of the criteria that would consider this to breach collusion, but he didn't find it in the end to be a collusion, basically collusion hoax. And all of this, man, I'm reading through all this, and I'm wondering, like you said, the players, and I think that the players and the NFLPA put this on notice for a very specific reason, right? They're having this investigated because this is the expectation, Dustin, right? I mean, you know it as well as I do. These former first round picks, these quarterbacks that have a good rookie, good 4 years of their rookie deal. This is going to be the standard. These guys are going to ask for fully guaranteed money, and I think teams that are reluctant to do it are going to lose good players, man. And I'll be honest, man.
Well, now here, the key, what you just said, though, the key to that, though, is if all of the teams are colluding to keep that from happening, then that player can't go somewhere else and get that guaranteed money from anyone else. So that enables them to keep that player. That is why it's so important to the NFL and the ownership that deals like that do not start happening, because if a player feels like I can go somewhere else and get that, then they will lose that player. But it's kept in place that way so that they don't have to guarantee all that money, and they can pay them less. So that is the important part of what you're talking about here, Brandon, and what's coming out of that article, because it's not a free market. That it's not a free market for Lamar Jackson to go gauge his value with every other team in the NFL. If the Ravens are saying to every other team in the NFL, hey guys, we're in a stalemate with Lamar Jackson, we don't go making an offer, don't go talking to him about money, we got to keep these guys down here to where when your quarterback is up for his deal, you won't have this same issue. That is the problem, right?
Yeah, and they asked a couple of other owners like Kraft, who they found no involvement with any of this, who just claimed, no, I've had no discussions regarding this at all. But per the NFLPA, they alleged that the NFL's high-ranking NFL executives had encouraged other owners at a meeting not to agree on large, fully guaranteed contracts like Mr. Watson's. That's what they said. So there was text exchange, but nothing solid that this arbiter could find that he could really.
Well, that makes sense. The NFL is a big money making machine, and these guys know how to keep making money. This whole thing is a double-edged sword too, man, because from an owner's perspective, in terms of sinking guaranteed, we just said it's the most violent sport. It's the one where you're least guaranteed to stay healthy of all the sports. So paying guaranteed money to a guy that could have a career-ending injury in one play, and I guess you take that chance in any sport, but it's much, much higher in the NFL when every collision is like a fucking mini car crash, right? So like these owners are hesitant to give away the guaranteed money, because if they do, then that's in case of injury and everything, that player has that money, and that's that. So then now you have that could cripple a team if you give a quarterback, that 200 million guaranteed or whatever it's going to end up being as these numbers keep getting higher and higher, and then that quarterback has a career-ending injury, and that money is just sunk into that.
Well,
so
which is what's occurred basically with Deshaun Watson, who can't
to an extent, yeah. But the key to this, man, is that you give relief to it to encourage these guaranteed deals, which not just quarterbacks, every player in the NFL has the right to, in my mind. And it should start going that way. But to encourage teams to do that, Brandon, you got to give them some kind of clause to where that money, if you spend it and injury happens, then you get relief in the cap from that. The NBA has stuff like that. So like, and the MLB don't have one. It's just you can pay players as much as you want to pay them, so it doesn't affect them. The NFL has this very strict salary cap that GMs have to maneuver around and under. And if you guarantee all that money and then it's just all sunk and you're getting nothing out of it, like the Browns are with Deshaun Watson right now, that can tank your team. So that creates an unfair competitive environment. So then NFL has to start looking into, and I don't think they want to, because they don't want to be paying these players guaranteed money.
No,
I think that's clear. But to do the right thing, they have to start looking into how do we make sure that teams won't be snake bitten by this. They have to find a way in the CBA and under these contracts and with the NFL salary cap to give relief in scenarios like that, to encourage that guaranteed money, which these NFL players need to make, man, because you see a lot of these guys at the end of their careers, they don't got much left, and there's not really good life after football for a lot of these guys. So that guaranteed money, it would be a huge deal for a lot of these players.
Yeah, and then and what this made me start, well, first off, then you had a couple of second-round picks. A couple of second-round picks. Yeah, well said, John. A couple second-round picks this year, man, who look like Carson Schwessinger. I can't remember who the other two are, who were given fully guaranteed contracts. Now, you're not talking about $200 million deals. They're going to break your cap. And Roger Goodell's concern was, man, how is a team going to manage a cap giving these quarterbacks these full and guaranteed contracts?
You got to put stuff in place. You got to put stuff in place to help with that.
And I started to think about Caleb Williams, and I know this is very premature, man, and early, but the hope here as a Chicago fan is that this guy becomes your elite franchise quarterback. He was the number one pick, the generational talent, Dustin. Are the Bears going to find a stalemate with Caleb Williams when his contract is due? Is he the kind of player that's going to ask for fully guaranteed money? And like you said, I think this is going to be, you're going to see this, man. I think CJ Stroud might be the first to do it of all the young quarterbacks. I think Jaden Daniels, a guy like Caleb Williams, are definitely going to be on the list. I think that there's a very big possibility that this is something that Caleb Williams and his agent will try to work out 100%. And the
I
Bears are
certainly would. I certainly would.
infamously, yeah, well, especially if he's the guy,
If you've
you know what I
earned it,
mean?
if you've
Yeah.
earned that,
If
yes,
he's
yes.
if he's that dude, and the Bears are infamously known for not, I mean, Ryan Poles gives smaller deals than the average NFL owner would or GM would, especially like Jalen Johnson, DJ Moore. These guys are getting paid a little less than the standard market compared to the rest of the guys in the league.
Well,
I'm
that's
wondering,
about when you sign those deals too. Like, do you get ahead of it before they've,
hit
jumped
the
to that
mark,
next
yeah.
level to earn
Well,
that before
and
they
he's
hit the
not
open
letting him
market?
hit
Yeah.
markets yet.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's a method to that madness and how you can get those kind of sweetheart deals with players if you're proactive. So Ryan Poles has done a good job at that. But when it comes to your quarterback, man, and if Caleb Williams does earn it, and whatever earning it means, does he start leading the Chicago Bears to the playoffs? Does he have multiple 4,000-yard seasons and 30 touchdowns? I mean, there's a lot of hypotheticals we can throw out there in terms of
Yeah.
earning it. But we just saw Brock Purdy get paid massively for what he's done for the 49ers. And I mean, I don't think anybody expects him to be a better quarterback than Caleb Williams in 2 years. So what is Caleb Williams going to be worth, and what will the Bears be willing to pay him? And is it worth paying that guy guaranteed money? I think it is. I do.
And you saw the Baltimore Ravens with a quarterback who's a two-time MVP now. I mean, a guy who's breaking records, a guy who's leading the league in rushing as a quarterback, and he's still throwing 4,000 yards. Almost allow this player to walk away. So it begs the question, man. Will it be too much for teams? I mean, will the teams be able to let these guys? Are the Bears willing to let a player like Caleb, if he's your
Do
franchise
you know
quarterback?
where Lamar Jackson is on the average annual salary of these quarterbacks?
I mean, ranking?
Yeah,
No.
he's 10th. He's behind Justin Herbert.
Well, and
He's
his deal
behind.
came a few years ago.
Well, it was two, like a year and a half, damn near. But yeah, I mean, and that's how it goes with this quarterback money, right? Every new guy is the highest guy. But
Yep.
let's just see if this makes sense here. Let's run through the top 10. Lamar Jackson at 52 million, Justin Herbert 52 and a half. John S says here, percentage of cap is really the number to watch. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, like, if you're going to start doing guaranteed contracts, especially big ass ones like Patrick Mahomes got, basically his entire contract was guaranteed. Am I correct, Brandon? Patrick Mahomes was one of those guys that got a big chunk of his contract guaranteed, if I recall. But like, there's got to be some kind of cap help with that. You got to raise the cap, and I mean, they make enough money to do that. So I mean, like, there's got to be some ways to do that to where, and if an injury were to occur, that team is not just done for 3 years competitively because of the money they've sunk into that guy. You got to encourage teams to be wanting to do this. But Brock Purdy's number 8 at 53 million, Jared Goff 53 million, Tua 53.1. Like, there's just not a lot of separation there. From Tua at 6 to Lamar Jackson at 10, it's 53.1 to 52 million. Then Trevor Lawrence, 55 million. Ugh. Jordan Love is right there with him. Ugh. Josh Allen, 55 million. Joe Burrow, 55 million. And Dak Prescott at 60 million. Those are your top 10 annual salary for quarterbacks. The amount of that's guaranteed that's just your year to year, your yearly salary, basically.
And if you're looking at that list, Dustin, I mean, like you said, Dustin, I mean, the players sell the product. They are the product. They deserve the money. But there's some names on that list that are only given the contracts they've been given because that's just the request. It's just what the market requires now. Like Jordan Love and Tua are not guys that should be paid in the top 5 on the quarterback list in the quarterback market right now. And then you look at ChatGTP. Somebody asked ChatGTP, what's the Caleb Williams contract projection? Now, this is an AI, artificial intelligence, that's using algorithms and also projecting what the salary cap increases that will occur over the next 3 or 4 years before Caleb gets his extension. Hopefully, probably get, you have the 5th year option, but I'm gonna guess they're gonna extend Caleb Williams. They said $1 billion It's the contract that Caleb Williams would require to retain him as the Chicago Bears quarterback. $1 billion. So I guess, man, Mike, like I said, this is something. It's starting to make me freak out a little bit, man, because we don't even have Caleb hasn't even proven that he's that guy yet, and I'm already concerned about the Bears' history and what they're willing to do to retain good players. Because we watched just 2 years ago, our first round pick and a very young player in Roquan Smith ask for to be the highest paid linebacker in the league, and they let the guy they trade him away for a fucking second
And now
round
that's a
pick.
little different than your quarterback. And
Of
again,
course,
what I mean, what do you think Caleb has to do to even put himself in the position where he can ask or demand a fully
I think it would be
guaranteed
heavily based on
contract?
what you said. You'd have to do two things, man. Your team would have to succeed, consistent playoff appearances, and you'd also have to be you'd have to be achieving the individual goals as well. The 4,000 yards, the 30 plus touchdowns. I mean, it can't be one thing or the other. I mean, it can't be like, oh, Caleb's been fair, but the Bears are winning, or Caleb's playing great, but the Bears can't seem to win a fucking game. I mean, both things would have to occur. It would have to be a Lamar Jackson situation where the guy's consistently taking you to the playoffs while also being one of the best players in the league and winning MVP awards.
When you start talking about cap hits for these quarterbacks, Dak Prescott is still number one, like for 50 million. Dak Prescott is a cap hit for the Cowboys this year. Like if he goes down, the Cowboys are
Like
toast.
he did last year.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Matthew Stafford is number two there. 47.5 million cap hit this year. So these teams are front loading these guarantees, and that's the cap hit that's gonna, hit these teams. Joe Burrow's number three. Lamar Jackson is number
And
four on that
and then
list.
John's suggesting something that I thought about too, man. Are you going to start to extend, because a lot of these contracts are 4 to 5 years. That's what most NFL contracts are, especially the max deals. Are you going to start to extend the amount, how long the duration of
Well,
these
that's what
contracts?
baseball does. They'll go out as far as they can to
Yeah,
spread that
13
out over
years. Yeah,
to spread
NHL as
that out
well.
over time, right? So I mean, most of these contracts are very front loaded, right? In the NFL, you're getting a good portion of it right up front in terms of bonuses and your base salary, and then after 2 to 3 years, these NFL teams can get out of it with very little cap penalty. Now, if you're an NFL player, does it make sense to take advantage of that and go for a 3 year, just fully guaranteed? Kirk Cousins made a lot of money doing that, Brandon, over the last couple of years with Minnesota. When he went from there to, it was I believe it was a 3 year, $80 million deal or something like that, just fully guaranteed. And he got all that money. And then he turned around and did it again with Minnesota. And then he signed a short term but high guaranteed deal with the Atlanta Falcons. This dude is cashed in. You see LeBron James do that in the NBA, where he's opening himself up to get back onto the market. The thing about the NFL is they want to control these players as much as possible. So them giving up that control, which is how they really control all this cash, I don't see it happening. I think it needs to happen. I think the players need to fight harder for it. But every time you see the players fight back against the NFL in terms of the CBA, these collective bargaining agreement negotiations, the NFL just kind of plays hardball with them and they give in, they cave. So it's it's seeing this change anytime soon. I think is very unlikely, man. Caleb Williams
Well,
could be a guy that's in the front running for like a guy that starts to break this trend. And then one thing just else to consider, the NIL deals for these college quarterbacks, for these college players in general. That Caleb made a lot of money in college. I mean, you saw what Cooper Flag made. It was like 28 million for 1 year at Duke in NIL money. The NIL money, because college sports are very profitable and these players are starting to get a piece of it. The NFL might have to start adjusting just based on that, because why would a quarterback come out a year early when they can go back to college and make more money potentially just playing out their last year in college? And now the NFL's talent, the amount that's coming in quickly is starting to dwindle. So I mean, there's multiple factors at play here, and I think eventually the NFL is going to have to get on board with the rest of these sports. I think, but I don't know. They're going to fight that tooth and nail, man.
yeah, and I don't, it's not about his character, man. I just know that the guy believes himself and he knows his worth. I think that Caleb Williams would be the kind, and Justin, like you said, as long as these owners are, sharing texts with one another about how to control this, it's going to be tough for the players to change anything, because Lamar Jackson was available to the league, was he not?
I mean, it felt that way. The Ravens kind of opened up the door for him to look around, if I
Yeah,
recall.
yeah,
But they also went through the back door and told everybody, "Don't fucking touch this guy. He's our quarterback." we're taking a stand for the league right now. And Lamar was trying to take a stand for the players. And
yeah.
guess who won? Guess who won? The league. The league won in that contract. And the thing that kills me the most about this, man, is that fans so often take the league side in these things. These players get paid so much money
It's
to
your
just
fans closest to
play
you and
again.
me. Yeah,
What the fuck? Why would you not want these players to get paid? They are the reason we watch. These NFL owners are already loaded, dude. Let the players get a little more. And like when the fans take the league side or take the management side, ownership side, they're putting undue pressure on that player who, we should be putting, I think, strength behind that player to stand up to these teams and make it better for these NFL players in general. Because once you start seeing more and more of that happen, and once the first guy gets it, you'll just start to see that snowballing. But so often, man, the fans just side with the ownership, and I just don't understand it. It makes no fucking sense to me, man.
yeah, I'm 100% with you there. Most times when discussions like this come up regarding any sport, man, the people that I speak with are always in favor of, like, it's the players greedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, wait a minute.
Look what the NFL's been doing for
Well, wait
years.
a minute. The
It's
players
these players.
making the individual who doesn't want to pay him more all of the money. It's like, so
And that same conversation in college football, man, and that the floodgates have opened up on that, but forever they're amateurs. They shouldn't be getting paid. It takes away from the tradition of the game. Well, everybody else is lying in their fucking pockets, dude. So those
yeah,
same people that were saying that will take the ownership side in these NFL
yeah.
disputes
I
too.
remember when the players requested that they not be named in the video games because they're not being paid for their likeness, and a lot of fans had problems with this now, especially a lot of gamers who wanted the name on the jersey while playing the NCAA game. But it's like, why the hell not, man? I mean,
Mhm.
what other person in any other industry puts their name in something in regards to a video game or television or whatever it might be and just doesn't collect a dime for it,
What
man? It's
other
just
person in any other industry is like solely responsible for all of the profit and sees none of it? I mean,
yeah,
college has done the right thing here, but all I'm saying is that now might change the way the pros have to do business too, because the money that's coming in college is a lot. It's a lot. So I mean, like, eventually that will have to adjust into the NFL. The cap's going to have to go up. The amount that these guys get paid is going to have to go up, and the amount that's guaranteed should go up as well. And the players are going to eventually, man, have to strike to get that to happen. I think we've seen it again. Like I said, we've seen it multiple times before. The league always ends up winning out. The players get some small victories, but like they're just not getting paid. They're not getting paid and they never go far enough to see if the owners will start to cave if their pockets start to hurt when games aren't played. It just never gets to that
yeah.
point. But the
No,
NFL needs to be the players need to be fighting for guaranteed money, man. And
like I said,
that's
this is all hypothetical, man, and this is not an attack on Caleb's character. But the reports come out, and we all kind of knew it to be true to begin with. This guy did not want to be drafted to the Bears. It took some convincing. Is there going to be, like, Dustin? Is this a problem? Is Caleb the player that's going to ask for a fully guaranteed contract? And is there a possibility, if he does, that this Bears organization, who's pretty infamously known for not paying people what they require, is there a chance Caleb is the quarterback the Bears want, and he's not here anyways? Is
I
that
don't think so,
possible?
man. I don't think because what we're talking about is not a Bears issue, Brandon. It's a league issue, and it's teams. The whole
But
point of this
like you said,
conversation is
man,
the
Caleb.
collusion aspect. The
Yeah.
collusion aspect. So,
So
like,
there's
if the Bears break those ranks, then they would be the only one doing that. It's not like Caleb is going to leave to go somewhere else for someone else that's breaking those ranks. Like, these teams are really trying to stay strong against paying out all this
yeah,
guaranteed money.
they're staying united. That's for damn
Mm,
sure.
exactly.
Because
So that's the crux of the conversation.
and is Caleb the guy who stands firm against it, man? He could be.
Well, what we could say is that he seems like the type that could be. Yes, Brandon. Like he seems like the kind of guy that would stand on that business, that would try to do everything he could to get as much money as possible, and could be, the type of the face of that kind of change.
Yeah.
The NFL, that change is coming to the NFL eventually. And like you said, these young crop of quarterbacks, CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, guys that, are outspoken and are out there in the media and are gonna know their worth and expect to get it. So I mean, like, could we see that change happening? Yes. Me betting on that, I don't know, man, because it's just the NFL has such a firm grip, a stranglehold on that salary cap situation and on these contracts for NFL players, and NFL players overall are going to have to fight against it, not just a couple of quarterbacks.
Yeah, so like I said, man, after reading that article, it just started to make me think of the possibility, because we've never had the franchise quarterback. We've never dealt with this QB situation with contracts. You know what I mean? This has never occurred as in my lifetime as a Bears fan.
Well, Jay Cutler was pretty well paid as a quarterback.
But he was, but it didn't. Those contract negotiations weren't really. It was just kind of, he asked for what he got, asked for what he asked for, and he got it. Like,
so I don't know if we're going to see a contentious contract negotiation between Caleb Williams. It's really going to depend on what Caleb Williams does, man. At the end, here, we can sit and talk about all these hypotheticals. If the Bears have done everything in their power this offseason to make sure Caleb Williams proves them right that he was a generational 100%. Quarterback. So they want him to do that, and they would be lucky to have the opportunity to pay him. That's the way I look at it. So if Caleb wants to be here, he's all in the way he's acted, the way he's handled his business on the field up to this point. I don't think and as John S. says, I don't think Caleb will be an issue. I agree, John. I don't think so either. I think if Caleb does his part and the Bears do their part, we will see a contract happen, and it will be a record-breaking contract when it happens. The worst case scenario is that the Bears don't want to sign him, and he hasn't performed up to that level to where they should. That's the worst case. I think best case is that Caleb is signing a new deal, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of issue with that. The guaranteed money, I think that's a league issue. That's not a Bears Caleb Williams issue. I think the Bears are going to do everything they can to take care of Caleb Williams as long as he's performing as their franchise quarterback, man.
Without giving him a fully guaranteed contract. Hey, Shorty,
says,
you guys are still awake. I'm trying to go to sleep. Well, this is the perfect show for that, man.
Yeah, just listen to Brandon talk for a little while.
Yeah. Shorty, we appreciate you hanging out. John, we appreciate all
collusion and homogenous product.
Yeah. There's an interesting article, man. Like, when you get a chance, read it. But yeah, it made me think of a situation we've never really seen here in Chicago, man. That is a quarterback asking for an astronomical amount of money, which we know is going to happen if Caleb Williams is the guy. It's for
what it comes down to, though, man, with this topic overall is that arbiter did not find that there was. If you need that investigation to find collusion and to slap some kind of fines against the NFL to make that change. You know what I'm saying? Like it.
Yeah. And I don't know. You got to wonder, Dustin. Would an arbiter ever say that they
exactly? I mean, the NFL is one of the most powerful fucking businesses out there, man. Like that's a
because reading it sounds like the arbiter is just an employee for the NFL. That's how it reads.
That's how it always comes across in these types of
bipartisan party. That it's like, oh, sounds like he works for the owners. So that's one too. Caleb and Rome getting a contract, and Rome will probably get the 5th year. Caleb will probably be extended, but yeah, you got to worry about that.
That would be a beautiful thing if both those guys re-up. That'll be a beautiful thing. That'll mean that things are working out the way Ryan Poles wanted them to when he made those picks. So I hope and pray for that. And speaking of Caleb Williams, man, we had these PFF rankings come out today. It was brought to my attention. I saw it on X. I've seen people talking about it. It's another. It seems like it's another shot against Caleb Williams, man. I want to kind of just give everybody the whole deal here. Let me see. What do we have? Because it's not so much about what they said about Caleb Williams that pissed me off. It was more about what they said about everyone else while they were saying what they were saying about Caleb Williams. It felt like a hit piece, right?
And I'm going to say this right off the bat, guys. This is the CNN of fucking sports analytics, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to
PFF.
I mean, this is the most cited source for the keyboard warriors debate. And it consistently pisses me off when somebody tells me what PFF reports, because it's like you don't have eyes in your own damn head. Like some PFF's telling somebody to tell me
Yeah,
that
I just watched the football game, but I need to
Davis,
see the scores. I need to see
Nate
the
Davis. I
grades.
got texts from people like Nate Davis was the highest scored PFF player in that game last week. Like Nate Davis didn't show up. He wasn't there. So it's like I don't give a PFF to me, man. I don't know. It seems like there is absolutely sway. You know what I mean, to their analytics. It's not all numbers. I don't know how
Well,
PFF works, but
let's see where the wind's swaying here, man. I'm gonna read through these quarterback these
yeah, I got them
second
in
year
front of me.
quarter. I'm gonna read them. I got them. Bo Nix ceiling. They listed ceilings and floors of all of these second year quarterbacks. Bo Nix's ceiling, Drew Brees. His floor, Mac Jones. That's a rough floor. That's a far fall, but I mean, you got to go really high up there with Drew Brees. JJ McCarthy. This one was hilarious. Ceiling, Joe Burrow. Floor, Sam Darnold. This guy has not even played football yet. He's the best quarterback of this group.
And he really didn't play too much football in college either. So that's an interesting one.
Michael Penix Jr. Ceiling, Justin Herbert. Floor, Jameis Winston. Okay, so Jameis Winston eating W's like that. That's not bad, man. That's not a bad floor for Michael Penix. High ceiling, Justin Herbert. Drake May. His ceiling is Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, that's a little rough. This was a little harder on Drake May than I realized because his floor is Daniel Jones, which is kind of what I thought when he was coming out in that draft. So Jaden Daniels, his ceiling is Lamar Jackson. His floor is Kyler Murray. This is according to PFF. And then Caleb Williams, ceiling, Jordan Love. Floor, bust. Not even a player, just bust. Like no chance at all. Like Jamarcus Russell is basically what you're saying. His floor is Jamarcus Russell. His ceiling is Jordan Love. What the?
Well, and not even coming from a Bears fan perspective, from just a person who's reading this, man,
Seems very biased.
It doesn't make sense because if the floor being bust exists in this analytics, then the floor is a bust for every player on the list.
All of them.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
You clearly
because
have
the
an axe to
possibility
grind.
of a bust. Yeah, and then if you actually does not, because I read after you sent it to me, I started to read them, and then like it says, the Michael Penix one stood out to me too a lot. Michael Penix's floor is Jameis Winston,
who's been a starting quarterback in the NFL. Yeah.
And who is also one of the highest turnover rate quarterbacks we've ever watched in our lifetime. I mean, the guy threw as many touchdowns as interceptions 2 seasons of his career. And it says about Michael Penix, he generated a 9% big time throw rate with just a 1.7 turnover worthy play rate. So, I mean, you're comparing his floor is Jameis Winston, who threw like 32 interceptions in a season, not but 4 years ago. And you're the player that you're calling a possible Jameis Winston had the lowest turnover rate of all these rookie quarterbacks besides Caleb.
We're getting a little reaction. Let me just say, Ant-Man says that's an insult to me. Love is a bust. So basically, PFF is saying his ceiling is bust, his floor is bust.
Because you're comparing both.
John S says, "Holy fuck, I did not see this. Jordan Love or bust? That's slander." Yeah, that sounds like the Packers mantra. Jordan Love.
Hey, you guys,
bust.
Pull this up. Take a look at it. It's
ridiculous.
And then it's like Jaden Daniels is Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray, like slight borderline racist. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I don't know about racist, but it's like,
but then it says
that's really nice. That's a really nice floor.
Yeah, his floor is as good as he is now. Like,
yeah, Kyler Murray is a solid.
There's no
NFL
regress. There's no possibility of regression in Jaden Daniels
or a bust in Jaden Daniels. Yeah.
And then Caleb Williams, who had like the 4th best season by Chicago Bears quarterback, just bust.
To be fair, the Chicago Bears quarterbacks just haven't been the greatest throughout history. So, I mean, that's not a high bar to hold yourself up to.
But because of what you just said, it makes it even more kind of extravagant to me.
The most insulting thing to me is JJ McCarthy, his ceiling being Joe Burrow. His ceiling being Joe Burrow and his floor being Sam Darnold, who was one of the best quarterbacks in the league last year, Brandon. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. JJ McCarthy has not played football yet.
And he didn't.
How do you do that?
He didn't play a lot of football in college, Dustin. This guy has barely played any football at all.
And he didn't throw the ball a lot in college when he played football.
I mean, you're talking about a guy whose ceiling is Joe Burrow, but wasn't selected in the NFL draft till number 11. You know what I mean? If teams had any kind of consensus that his ceiling was Joe Burrow, he'd have been the first overall pick in the fucking draft, man.
Let me just say this. This comes across as a total hit piece. It comes across as biased. It comes across like you have an axe to grind. If you're going to have every other player's floor as another player, you even go so far as to put Daniel Jones as the floor for Drake May. That's not good. That's not good. That you might as well say bust. Daniel Jones has been a bust. That's what he has been for his career. But you just flat out say bust for Caleb Williams. I I I don't know how to take this other than you clearly don't like the game of Caleb Williams and you're trying to hammer home a point, but it's not really non-biased reporting. I couldn't call it reporting, and it's not fair to Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams should read this shit and be extremely pissed off and use that as motivation to kick the crap out of everybody this year.
Yeah,
He
I
really
don't know
should,
if
because
it-
this
I
would
don't know.
this pisses me off. It should really piss Caleb Williams off.
Yeah, I think if I'm a player, I'm going to PFF for comedic relief, man. If anything.
No, but Michael Jordan, if Michael Jordan saw this, this would be posted up in his locker all season. And he would look at it and he'd be like, and I took that personal. That's what Jordan would do all year. I'm taking this personal. And that's what great players need to do. Caleb, this should be more fuel to Caleb Williams' fire, because this is just total ass, dude. And
the floor
yeah,
for PFF is
PFF can kiss my ass. Yeah,
Yeah.
PFF, it's just it doesn't make sense. As you said, you watch the game and then the grades come out and you're like, fucking Coleman Shelton was the best player on the field yesterday. What? I saw him
He
get run.
He blocked his own team.
I saw him get run over like 7 times. He was on his ass multiple times. He wasn't very.
He got pancaked. That's not a statistic for an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
They don't get pancaked. Yeah, and then there was a game, man. I forget what it was. I can't give you the stats exactly, so I apologize, guys. But there was a game where DeAndre Swift had like a big rushing touchdown. He carried the ball for like 5 yards per carry. He had a big receiving touchdown. I mean, he was the Bears' offense, and he had like a 63 grade. I was like, what the fuck kind of system are we using here, man? I don't understand. So yeah, as far as, and we've talked about this a lot on this channel, guys. PFF is ass. It's total ass. It always has been to me. I don't respect it at all. I hate it when people bring it to the attention of an argument to defend their debate. Because people
Well,
tell
we're
me,
all
"Well,
guilty
PFF,"
of it at some
I
point,
don't
Brandon.
care.
We're all
What's
guilty of it at some point. We are. Let's be real. I mean,
I haven't
we all
opened that application, man, in like over a year. I don't look at it. It doesn't. If it was to me, if it was more real, it's not realistic.
Well, the thing is that they're looking so deep into the analytics that like it's just stuff that it doesn't even, I don't know that it matters to that
Yeah.
player's grade
Yeah.
for that game. But like there's not even a
And
grade.
I'm wondering what
there's,
affects the grid. I want to see it because
there's no grade attached to this. I don't know if this is just one person who put out an article for PFF and then attached, or if this is just under PFF's umbrella, or is this PFF like putting this out here because like you can't be respected if that's what you're gonna. If that's what
the player names, no, but I mean they do put the there's some analytics in here. They talk about where they graded in specific areas of their game, and I think that's kind of how they dictate which quarterback.
Do they talk at all about the offensive line Caleb Williams played behind? Do they talk at all about the play calling that Caleb Williams dealt with, and the fact that he had multiple offensive coordinators throughout his first season? Like those things are not accounted for in that grading. It's just about the player's performance, and certain players dealt with less. And what kind of analytic grade can you give JJ McCarthy? And I want to touch on, we got Razzle Dazzle in the building, one of our favorites. And Shorty did say he popped open some chips and salsa and he's gonna stick around. So thanks for that.
Even worse, Dustin. I'll read you this last paragraph, guys. Granted, top prospects who don't put it all together as rookies are still capable of turning things around. Jared Goff is a notable example, and Bryce Young appears to have turned a corner, which I agree with. But then it says, but struggling as badly as Williams did usually does not end well. No record. There's no citing of an offensive line or coaching or anything, man. I mean, it's just
it's just all on Caleb. Yeah. He just struggled.
Shorty just had a show where Adam Mason was claiming the quarterback's strictly responsible for the failures and success of the team, man. But it's just never been that way. It's never gonna be that way. How many times did Caleb Williams last year? I mean, does PFF did he get the field goal blocked against Green Bay? Did he run out of timeouts at the end of the Detroit game? You know what I mean? Like Caleb Williams, when he was put in position to win a
Did
game
he
for the Bears,
he let that
fucking
Hail Mary? Did he let that Hail Mary happen? No,
Yeah.
he led the drive that got the Bears the lead in that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's certain things that are not being accounted for here. Obviously, Razzle says, "Listen, if y'all think for one, I guess second that KOC won't get JJ up to standard with that roster, something is wrong. Watch KOC won't let JJ fuck that up." Listen, if anybody can make JJ McCarthy look like a decent NFL quarterback, it's Kevin O'Connell, and I've said that, and I agree with that. I just don't think it's there. I think the Vikings are in for a rude awakening when it comes to JJ McCarthy and what his capabilities are versus what they think they are. And we'll see how it plays out this season, man. But if there is a coach out there that can do it, it is KOC. And I'll give him more credit than I'll give JJ McCarthy. I mean, but at the end of the day, these guys got to play. You know, Caleb Williams just went through a season where he got his ass kicked all year, an offensive line that was a sieve. That's just the reality. Now there are sacks that Caleb Williams directly caused. I have acknowledged that throughout. I acknowledged that all last season when we were doing our reviews of the game, man. But at the end of the day, there are certain things that you got to account for, and it's not just his deep yardage completion percentage or whatever. Like it's more about how was he protected, what kind of positions was he put in with the play calling, what kind of positions was he put in with the run game. There's multiple things that are not accounted for here. And honestly, if they had said floor is I don't know, fucking Teddy Bridgewater, I wouldn't be as offended as I am. They just said floor bust. And that's clearly showing me that you have a bias, that you got some kind of agenda with this. So I can't take it seriously, guys. I just want to talk about it to say this is bullshit.
If you set the bar on the floor level at bust, then every player has to be floor bust. It doesn't make sense to do that for one player. It does not make sense at all.
Vizzo says, please don't bring up Adam Mason. This is my safe place. Yeah, I don't know why you brought him up.
So he was on Shorty's show.
Adam Mason wanted Fields in the hall. Yeah.
He's not a bad guy.
How'd that go for you? That's all I'm saying, Razzle Dazzle says. Oh, and Shorty, I did not see this. Yeah, I was very busy tonight at work, did not get to tune in. I'll have to go back and check it out, but sounds like a blast, guys. Sounds like a blast. Listen, this is bullshit. That's just what it is, and I can't wait for Caleb to fucking shove his foot up everybody's ass. I really can't. It's going to happen. The Bears are going to have a quarterback, and it's going to be Caleb Williams, and all these people that are trying to make him out to be like this overrated sissy boy, basically. Like, I just can't wait for them to eat their words. And it does come down to this Fields thing. I mean, Fizzo brought it up, so I mean, we'll just say it. Like, and a lot of the hatred for Caleb or the hating on Caleb, it all starts there. They wanted Fields to stay here, and Fields just wasn't a good quarterback.
You say you can't wait for these people to eat their words, but I already know how this pans out. I see it. It's already occurred.
They'll flip and act like they were here.
They never said it. I love the kid. Yeah. I always liked him. I always thought Justin Fields was, because so many people told me Justin Fields ain't getting traded. He's not going anywhere. He's not getting. I was literally texting people the morning of, he's going to get traded, man. And on Facebook, these people are like back and forth with me. He's not going anywhere. Justin Fields is the Bears' future. He's fucking gone. And like a week later, like, yeah, you got to take. And then it became like just a hate around Caleb Williams because Fields was like, you got to take Jaden Daniels. I wouldn't touch Caleb. It's just. I
celebrated when the Bears traded Justin Fields more than I celebrated when they drafted him. I celebrated when the Bears traded Justin Fields more than I did when Trump and the U.S. bombed the Iran nuclear sites. Like, I was so happy when Justin Fields got traded.
I begged for that.
Just because it cleared the way for everyone to shut the fuck up and for the Bears to go with Caleb Williams, which was the obvious choice. Just what it signified. I didn't care what they got back. They could have got back a bag of fucking peanuts. I didn't care. I was happy as hell. I was happy as hell that they got rid of him so that we could open the door for Caleb Williams. And we've been on this bandwagon since day one, man. And hey, maybe it'll end abruptly. We don't know. That's what's fun about the NFL is you don't know. But Caleb Williams showed me something last year, regardless of what PFF says in terms of how he performed. He showed me something last year that he's got balls, he's got courage, he's got leadership, and he's got the guts to throw the fucking ball and under fire. and come back, even though he's getting his ass kicked. Keep coming back every week. But now that he has these weapons and this offensive line in front of him, just watch the fuck out, PFF. Watch what you say. Jordan Lover bust. Get the fuck out of here.
And this is irrelevant, but I want to state this. If Caleb Williams fails, I will stand firm on the fact that I wanted Caleb Williams on this football team. I liked Caleb Williams. I was happy with it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? My story won't change. And I'm on record for a lot of fucking shows here in my support of Caleb Williams. But even if I wasn't a podcaster at this juncture, I would still tell people I liked Caleb Williams. I thought that he was going to be a good player. I really did.
Yep. You can be wrong about these things, man. You can be wrong about these things. That happens. But, like, yeah, stand by your words. Stand by your words. Justin Fields, we'll see what he does.
Stand by your man.
Hope to stand by your man. That's your favorite song, Brandon. I don't know why you brought that up.
One of them.
Shorty says, I refuse to believe they would draft Caleb after trading Justin until the moment Goodell announced the pick. I was pretty damn confident.
We were pretty sure about that.
Vizzo Joe says Fields and Flus had to die so Ben and Caleb could live.
Hey, listen to this one.
That's funny.
Matt H says, watching from River Street with Kyle. Love the content.
Hey, what up, Kyle?
Thank you, Matt. Matt's new to us, man.
Yeah, he is. What do we got here? Let me look for it. I didn't have this shit ready.
Yeah. What's going on, man?
My bad.
Okay. That was for you.
Here we go.
That's for you, my man, and I do not blame you one bit for trying to find something else to take your attention from Kyle.
Oh, why did you do it again?
You get two, buddy.
I didn't know it's just going to keep playing over and over again.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it loops.
Kyle, what up? Tell Kyle I said hi. I miss him. It's been a while. John S. I would have taken Ryan Leaf. I'm an idiot, but I did say Caleb was the guy from day one. Yeah, I wasn't very high on Ryan Leaf. I gotta say that has aged well. Shorty says I have spent over $3,000 on Caleb Williams rookie cards because I truly believe he will retire the greatest Bear of all time.
I'm with you.
That's lofty praise, man.
That he retires one of the greatest players.
If not the greatest, then at least the most important, right? I mean, that quarterback that changed, what Chicago Bears quarterbacks are and how they're thought of, that stops that graphic of all the fucking quarterbacks the Bears have gone through in my lifetime.
Every week.
Yeah.
Even when you're not watching the Bears, you could be watching like a fucking like Bengals Ravens game. Like, oh, just look at this list of Bears quarterbacks. Like, what the fuck, man?
All I know, man, is when any Chicago Bears fan reads that from PFF, you should be pissed off. That should piss you off. It just should. Like that, the way they're just blatantly shitting on our quarterback.
There's some that it won't. There's some that'll take pleasure in that.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a problem.
Like that's the guy who wrote it.
I don't know. I don't know who wrote it. You got his name?
No, I'd rather not fucking know it.
Okay, then listen. We can move on.
I'm just kidding. It was. I don't know. A lot of times PFF doesn't put the author on because they're like a whole entity. Yeah, there is no author here.
Oh well, listen, man. Well, PFF, you put your name on that, and shame on you. And you will eat your words. And I can't wait. Caleb's gonna have a damn good season this year. He will have the best season of all these second-year quarterbacks. And I love Jayden Daniels.
Yeah,
and Jayden Daniels had the best rookie quarterback season I've fucking ever seen. Honestly, I've never been more impressed.
You sucked before this, PFF. Just for the record.
Yeah, but eventually we'll end up pulling them up as reference for why some offensive lineman was a good signing. Like that's what you end up leaning on PFF for, like the offensive line grades, I guess. I don't know, but even those are just jacked up, man. Yeah, let's start watching football and stop worrying about these analytic things, man. At the end of the day, you know what your eyes tell you. And Caleb Williams showed me a lot last year. I know what my eyes told me about him, so I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. And like I said, hopefully he just shoves it down all these haters' throats. Yeah. That's the goal.
Drew Brees, Joe Burrow.
We're an hour in, man. So let's get into these off the cuff, totally improvised and unrehearsed power rankings. I kind of want to just go through, and we can do it quickly, man. We don't have to spend a lot of time. But Where do we start? I think we start at the bottom. Like, who's the worst team in the NFL in your mind, Brandon? Let's start there and rank them in reverse. See where the Bears fall in this in terms of what we're thinking about the talent of the NFL this year. Who's the worst
Well,
team in the NFL?
I think the Saints are going to be up there, man.
So you can
Certainly.
start in the South. The NFC South and the AFC South seem to be the worst divisions to me. AFC South's got some competitors, man. I think the Titans are in that conversation. I think
I think
the Colts.
Cleveland Browns are going to be hanging around there, man, because their quarterbacks, whoever it just hasn't played football, and it's not going to be a veteran quarterback for very long.
Well, their best hope is Shador Sanders. I'll just say that. So I don't know what that tells you, but it's
So
not.
I think
Not
Saints
great.
and Saints, Titans, and Colts, yeah, for sure. I think they're going to be duking it out for who sucks the most, for sure.
Are we missing anybody in that? I mean, the Patriots still don't have an offensive line, but
No,
you
but
know,
I believe in Drake,
Vrabel
man.
and Vrabel, right?
And I'm going to be disagreed on this by with a lot of people. I think the Dolphins are going to be a really bad fucking football team. They're going to be somewhere near the bottom. I have
Okay.
no faith in that
Yeah, I
Dolphins.
can get with you on that. I can get with you on
This,
that. So
and if Tua goes down, it's a wrap for those guys. We
and
saw that.
the odds of that are higher than you would like if you're the Dolphins, that Tua
Yeah.
goes down. So yeah, that's a big problem for them. So we're gonna put the Saints here. I think the Saints are like number one with a bullet, probably for the worst team in the NFL. I think John S says the Saints sound about right.
Yeah,
What do
I'm
you
saying
think?
Saints because I like Cam Ward. You know me. You know that. You've known that for some time. I'm me, you as well. You turned me on to him.
Yeah,
Big believer in Cam Ward. And even if that it doesn't result in wins, I think they're going to be a competitive football team and definitely win more
he
games
was a
than
guy that I thought the Bears should look at a year ago when
if he
if
had entered the draft. Yeah, I remember
oh,
you tell. Yeah.
if the Bears weren't the number one overall pick, we didn't know where they were going to fall, but Cam
No,
Ward was a
I
guy that
really
I
like
would have
Cam Ward, and
considered.
as much as I like him, and as much as I believe in him, they're number two.
They're 31, right? The Titans,
Yeah.
we're gonna throw the Titans right in there, 31. So I mean, we got the Saints and the Titans as the two worst teams in football. I don't have again, not a lot of research here. I just want to go off a gut and kind of just what we know about these rosters and what we think about these team situations and where we think these teams are going to fall. And I just want to see how accurate it is without any real. Hasn't Shorty asked you this before, Brendan?
I don't know.
Well,
I've
someone
got this
has. You've been
question so many
asked.
times in
Yeah,
my life that I
yeah.
don't know who's asked. I was born 9 minutes before Kyle was. It's actually a long. I think that the average set of twins are born like a minute and a half apart.
I was about
So
to say that
it
feels
was,
long.
yeah, it was quite some time. Poor mother.
When Kyle was just enjoying some alone time before he had to spend the rest of his life. He had just spent all that time with you in there. He's like, "Fuck, I can breathe a little bit."
Jesus, man.
Sure,
I can do aerobics in here. All the space.
do so
um.
many
So
activities.
the activities, yeah. So I think definitely Tennessee comes after. And then the Colts got to come after that, man.
You think it's the Colts?
Yeah, it's
So I mean,
Saints, Tennessee, Colts.
you think the Falcons are in for some progression? What about the Panthers, man?
Absolutely, man.
You think the Colts are going to be worse than the Panthers?
Yeah, I've really grown to dislike Shane Steichen. I've really grown to like John Canellis a
Okay.
lot more. Yeah, is that his name John?
And I
His
mean
name's Canellis.
The Colts quarterback situation is fucking abysmal as well. You got Anthony Richardson and
Daniel
Daniel
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of fucked. They're kind of fucked. So
They're
we're
more
gonna
than Tyler Warren ain't changing that, bro.
so we're gonna go Colts at 30. There's
Yeah.
nobody else. So the Panthers were in. What about the Browns?
The Browns were next,
The
but I like
Browns
the
are.
Browns. I like the Browns have a solid defense,
They
and
do. They
they have a
do.
two-headed monster of running back. I think Sampson and we know Judkins. I mean, Dustin,
Judkins is gonna be a
I'm
stud.
believing the hype. You're sending me these videos. This kid is built like a fucking Mack truck. And
He's going to
fast
be a
too,
number
man.
one running back in the NFL right off the
So
bat, and
I
you're
think
going to see it.
Judkins and Sampson are gonna have at least a few games this year where they just tear people apart, man.
Browns are worse than the Panthers in your mind.
And they got Tevin Jenkins to open up some gaps for at least 4 games. So,
You think the Browns are worse than the Panthers?
No, the Panthers are not even next on my list.
No, what do you got next?
The Jets.
Ooh, the Jets.
I watched Justin Fields for 3 years, man. I'm good on that shit.
I fucking love it. I love it, man. I hate the Jets. I hate the Jets. I really do. And every time people think they're going to be good, I never really agree. I kind of got bought into the hype last year, and that was stupid of me. I regretted that immediately. So I would love to put the Jets here at number 28 as the 5th worst team in the NFL this year. That makes sense. Rookie head coach, all kinds of things working against them, and mainly Justin Fields being their quarterback. So we're going to put the Jets at number 28. Jets, then Giants, John S. says. We're going to put the Giants before the Panthers on this list?
No, I'll put the Panthers before the Giants. And I'll tell you why, John. I'm not sold on Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. I'm not even sold on Carson Beck.
Jackson Dart.
What I am sold on, man, is this is going to be one of the most terrifying defensive fronts in the entire
Giants. Yeah, the Giants' defensive line is very, very good.
and that's going to swing Dexter Lawrence. You have Dexter Lawrence there still, who's one of the best tackles in football. You have Kevon Thibodeau. Is that how do you say his first name?
Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau.
Kayvon Thibodeau. Added last year. You added Brian Burns, and then you go get fucking who's the what's his name?
Abdul Carter.
Yeah. So
their defensive line.
This is a disgusting front. Man.
Yeah,
I mean, I could see a potential. I could see the Giants hanging one of these pieces as a potential trade asset halfway through this season. And I also believe, John, if you keep throwing the ball to Malik Neighbors, you're okay. You're in good shape, man.
So right now we have the Saints at 32, which makes total sense. The Titans at 31. We like Cam Ward, but that's going to take some time to get going.
There's no talent on that football team.
Yeah, there really isn't. 30, the Colts. Their quarterback situation is horrendous, and we don't trust their coach in any kind of big moments.
No, I think he's going to be canned. I think he'll be fired.
He seems to make bad decisions anytime.
And Irsay's daughter,
he has opportunity to.
Irsay's daughter is on the
R.I.P. Jim Irsay. R.I.p. Jim Irsay. That's
for sure. His daughter's at practice on the sideline with a headset. What the fuck is that all about, dude? Did you see this?
Yeah, I read that.
She's listening in on what the coach is called to know who's responsible when a play goes bad. That's what
maybe she's actually listening to Taylor Swift and she's just saying that just to shake it off. So 30, we got the Colts. 29, we got the Browns. 28, we got the Jets. I love that. I love that we put the Jets at 28 in terms of our power rankings. 27, the Panthers. Even though I will say, man, the Panthers have an opportunity in my mind, especially in a weak NFC South, to change that, to really jump up these power rankings, especially with what I think Bryce Young is going to do, which is Bryce Young is going to be a good quarterback.
I agree with that. What PFF said, like I said, he turned a corner. I agree with that. I didn't dispute that at all.
And they added some weapons for him down there. So I mean, I think that defense is abysmal, and I don't know that it's going to get better this year. So they're going to be fighting against that, but who knows, man? Again, that NFC South, you got the Bucks down there, and the Falcons could be on the come, but the Panthers could find their way to fight for that division. That's a possibility. I'll just say that. But 27 makes sense for them right now with what we know.
All right. I think here, Dustin, you're down to 3 teams that I think could fill this next slot.
I'm interested to hear what you got.
New England's offensive line is atrocious. It's going to keep them from being a successful football team this year.
Yeah, Drake May is going to have to do a lot, and they still don't have weapons that I'm a big fan of either.
I'm going to put the Patriots or the Seattle Seahawks next here. I believe Sam Darnold without Kevin O'Connell is a different player.
The Seahawks were going to be who I suggested. The
Yeah.
Seahawks were going to be who I suggested.
I'm not going to put the Giants there, man. I'm going to say Patriots or Seahawks. I'm not going to.
So
put
you
the
said
Giants
3
there.
teams. Were the Giants the other
Yeah,
team?
they
that
were
you want
one,
to
but
throw out there?
the more I'm thinking about the Giants, man, this defensive line, Tyrone Tracy had a good season. He finished the season really well, and Malik Neighbors is just a monster, man.
Yeah.
That's
I
too
mean, I'm a
much.
little higher on the Giants than some of these chat members as well, Brandon. So the Seahawks were going to be who I suggested, but the more I think about it, considering that they were competitive for that division down to the wire last year, the Seahawks. Now that was with Geno Smith, and now they got Sam Darnold. So I mean, again, I'm still not buying.
You traded away. Are you still, hey, Dustin, you there?
Yeah, here I am. Yeah, I know. I'm connected directly to my fucking Wi-Fi. It's just like the Wi-Fi shits out Thursday
No, I
nights.
think that was on me, man. I got a message
really?
from StreamYard that said you have a bad connection. But
so did I though. So okay, sorry
but
for
I
the
think
pause there, guys. The technical difficulties.
they traded DK Metcalf, man.
Yeah.
Jackson Smith is a good player. I'm concerned about who's left.
Let's put the Patriots here, man. I think we should put the Patriots here.
Okay.
I mean, you're in the division with. I mean, honestly, we already put the Jets there. We're going to put the Dolphins pretty close to them too. So I mean, the Bills are really going to dominate.
Mike Vrabel's I had the Bills as the best record in the NFL because of this division. Honest to God, I said it.
Mm-hmm.
I said it during Sean and Kyle's show last night. They were talking about bets, future bets. I said you can call the Bills the best record in the NFL because their division is egregiously bad.
Yeah, it's bad, man. And listen, I'll say this: I hated Drake May and coming into that draft, and I felt like he was going to be a bust. He kind of proved me wrong a little bit with how he played last year, and I expect him to be a great fantasy quarterback this year. I really do. Like just in terms of what he's going to have to put that team on his back. So like that there'll be that, but they're still going to lose a lot of games, while they figure out how to put together an offensive line. I think, and their offensive coordinator is Josh McDaniels, right? Not a big fan of that either.
No, never was.
So 25's got to be the Seahawks then.
Yeah.
So they're in a division with the 49ers, the Rams, and the Cardinals, and we think they're the worst in that division. I think that makes sense, man. That defense is still pretty damn good, but that's a tough division. I think the Niners are going to bounce back this year. The Rams are still competitive, and Cardinals were sneaky good last year too, compared to what we expected from them. So we'll put the Seahawks there at number 25, man.
All right, next. I put some thought into this, man. I'm gonna go. God, I hate to do it, but just because of the coach, I'm gonna go Raiders. There's 2 teams here that I'm really torn between, man.
I'm not ready to put the Raiders. I'm not ready to put the Raiders.
Jaguars, then we gotta go Jaguars. I like
it's Jaguars or Giants. It's Jaguars or Giants for me here.
Oh, we still have the Giants. Yeah, no, throw the Giants.
Giants.
Yeah, no, the Giants were definitely coming after those other 2 teams for sure. The Patriots and the Seahawks. We'll put the Giants there, and then Jacksonville, man. I like Liam Cohen. I believed in Trevor Lawrence.
I love Travis Hunter.
They fired a really bad GM, which will certainly improve things over there. But
I think it comes down to Trevor Lawrence. So let's get the Giants out of the way first. We're putting the Giants here. They're going to be the worst team in the NFC East by our rankings as of right now. We do expect that defensive line to be very formidable and keep them in games. And Malik Neighbors is the shit. Love that guy. But that's not going to be enough to overcome. And Brian Dable's probably fired, and so is Joe Shane after this season. I would say. I mean, unless Jackson Dart is just amazing, and we're not ready for that. I mean, if Jackson Dart is what some people think he could be, then that could change this. I'll just say that, but I don't anticipate that. I really don't. So 23 is either the Jaguars or I'm not ready to put the Raiders. So we're going Jaguars here.
Yeah, it was too much dysfunction to fix in one season. Even if Liam Cohen is that guy, man, it's going to take some time to earn the trust of those players, A, and B, just put that thing back together because it's in fucking pieces, man.
But the thing you got to fix first, Brandon, in Jacksonville is Trevor Lawrence. Yep. Trevor Lawrence needs to be fixed. That guy misses routine NFL throws consistently. I've never seen a generational quarterback miss an out route so much. Like he just can't hit it. He makes bad timing throws in situations where you just can't. So if they can fix Trevor Lawrence, things could change around there pretty quickly. But like you said, I don't think that that's going to happen this year, man. The AFC South is not a very good division, though. So
And
let's just say that.
Liam Cohen's going to get some time to fix that, man. He's not going to be fired after a season. So I think that's
They're going to have some patience. They're going to have some patience. But again, I'll just say the AFC South is not a good. It's not a good division this year. It wasn't a good division last year. The Jaguars could surprise people. Who knows?
Well, but it wasn't a good division last year because the
Jaguars suck. Yeah. So the Jaguars 23 on this list. 22. Where are we going? I mean, are you ready to put the Raiders? I don't know if I am, man.
I am, yeah, man. And I'm going to say this: I have belief in Pete Carroll. He got his quarterback back in Geno Smith. They have to deal with the likes of the fucking Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Broncos.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's tough.
That could be 6 solid losses right there for Oakland. So
Vizzo Joe threw that out there earlier because of the division they're in. I think they're going.
Duval.
Duval. Liam Cohen. I will say, man, I don't know that I believe in Liam Cohen. I don't know that he can
think
turn
anyone
that.
does after that interview, man. After that,
Shorty says, "All right, you fuckers, I'm going to bed with a full belly of chips and salsa now. I'm sorry that we forced you into that bad decision.
You're gonna pay for that.
You're gonna feel that in the morning, just to wake up in 3 hours of heartburn, not because of you.
We'll talk tomorrow, man. For sure.
Shorty, you're the shit.
I appreciate you. We got a little meeting set up, so I'll be there for that, Shorty. We will definitely figure out what time that works best for you. I appreciate the help with that. Have yourself a good night and good luck in the morning, man.
Help with what? What are you talking about?
Oh, he's gonna help me figure out some stuff with YouTube. Something I've been putting off for a little while.
Well, I'm interested to know what that is. So, yeah, let me know.
For sure. We made some strides here in YouTube, man. There's some things YouTube's asking of us. We got to take care of. So, Shorty's the man with the knowledge.
All right, so Jaguars at 23, 22. It's Raiders. What about the Steelers? Are you ready to entertain the Steelers right here?
No, not at all.
No, I didn't figure you would be. Not the
Cardinals and Falcons are next on my list.
Can I throw out the Vikings or the Packers? The Falcons? Yeah. So you think listen, I got to push hard for the Raiders here. Again, in their division, it's going to be tough, but they actually have a decent quarterback now. As much as I don't like
Geno Smith, think the Bears are going to they're playing the North too, man.
They have a real head coach. They have Ashton Genty.
No, they're not playing the North. Sorry, we're playing them. The Bears are playing them. But
they have Ashton Genty. They have Brock Bowers. I like what the Raiders have going on. It might take a couple of years. I don't think Pete Carroll has a lot of time though. So like you could see them flash on the scene pretty quickly here. Pete Carroll. Yeah, exactly. So I guess we can go Raiders, but I just want to say that I might put the Steelers here above them. I might put the Cowboys here, and the Cardinals are a team I would consider as well before the Raiders.
Real quick, anybody, guys, if you're in the chat, and I know you see Shorty here back and forth with us, guys. If you're not aware of who Shorty is, he runs the podcast called Bear Country Production. They go live Thursday night. They usually do like a 2-3 hour show. Check that show out, guys. Give him some love. He's always here in the chat for us afterwards. I try to watch the show on Thursdays, but they do some really fun stuff over there. It's a good show.
Yeah, I love BCP. Yeah, I'm sure most people in the chat know who they are, but yeah, hit them up. Make sure you're watching their show. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like our show as well. Make sure you've hit that like button if you're here with us. So none of those teams that I've thrown out, you would be willing to put before the Raiders as we're working our way up here.
I could see the Vikings falling hard on the shoulders of JJ McCarthy, man. But I don't know, like if it doesn't work, if you plug in Sam Howell, does Kevin O'Connell just do it all over again? You know what I mean?
Again, Kevin O'Connell is a damn good coach. So I mean, that's the Raiders have a lot of work to do still. That is for sure.
I just want to say, line is rough, man.
I just want to see. I can see the Raiders winning 8 games this year. And that
the Raiders couldn't create a gap that a mouse could run through.
I think there's teams that could lose more games than them this year that we're going to put in front of them. But
I think the Cardinals are somewhere here for me. They're floating around this area, man. That's a
Cardinals, Falcons, Cowboys. What do you think of the Cowboys?
No, I don't like them. I think they're somewhere close to here.
Okay, so I would put the Cowboys below the Raiders. Is that crazy?
No,
No.
no, because I love the Raiders hire at the head coach position, and I despise the Cowboys hire
Yeah,
at the head
exactly.
coach
That's a
position.
as we've seen in past years, man. That is a much bigger deal than people give it credit for. We always just look at the players. We're not looking at the leadership of these teams. Schottenheimer is this
And
guy and
Eberflus,
Eberflus as your defense. Is this going to
I
turn your
hate it.
team around?
Uh,
I mean,
no,
they've added some
Jeez.
pieces, and I love CeeDee Lamb, man. But can Dak Prescott stay healthy? I don't know, man. The Cowboys are in a tough
Yeah, the
division too.
Lamb's going to have his best year, man. With George Pickens on the other side, this is going to be Lamb's. This is going to be where Lamb puts himself in that conversation with Jefferson and Chase. I
If
believe
he
that.
has Dak throwing him the ball all year, which is a
Yeah,
big if
yeah.
we've
If
come to
somebody
find.
says the name Rush, I swear to
Yeah,
God, fuck
yeah,
that
I
guy.
do not believe in Cooper. I would put the Cowboys here before I put the
Not on a
Raiders.
personal level, just as a
Yeah. All
player.
right, so we're gonna put the Cowboys here.
I go Cardinals, then Cowboys, man.
Cardinals. Okay, so I've now convinced you to put the Raiders up 2 more spots before we were gonna put them.
Yeah, I don't. Kyler Murray's health scares the shit out of me, and outside of Marvin Harrison, who he couldn't seem to find last year, even wide open. How many highlights did you watch Marvin Harrison like waving for the ball? I mean,
Yeah, they had
something's
that. Finding a connection there was tough. And Trey McBride, they have Trey McBride there, but like I don't know that
Gannon's made that team better year by year for sure. But
that defense still has a ways to go, though. I believe
yeah,
so. I mean, putting the Cardinals at 22 makes sense to me. It makes
yeah, I say
sense.
we go Cardinals
So 21 comes down to Cowboys or Raiders.
or
I'll put.
Falcons. Yeah,
You know, I love what the Falcons did in the draft. I know
so do
people
I.
say they
Four
spent too
players,
much. Yeah,
but I'm good. They're four
uh-huh.
phenomenal players.
Yeah, they spent too much to move back up to take Pierce, but I mean, like they got exactly what they needed. They needed edge rushers, premier talent at the defensive end position,
And a
and they got
stud of a
Watts.
safety. Yeah,
Yeah, and they got. I mean, I loved what they did. They addressed their biggest weaknesses in the draft, and I think those guys are going to be instant contributors.
they
So,
did lose his center.
so we're going to put the Cowboys at 21 then.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do. I want. I want to be on rec. There's so many
I think
people
that's being
believe in
kind of
this.
nice to the Cowboys. I think Cowboys are America's
Yeah,
team, right?
no, let's. They're not
They
mine.
always get overhyped. They always get overhyped. I am not a big fan of what the Cowboys did in this offseason, and I think they're in for more regression potentially. And they really need Dak Prescott to stay healthy, which again has been a problem for him. So,
Man, actually, you know what? Let's leave it. I don't think we've used our Dolphins selection yet. I think that
okay.
absolutely.
So the
I think they're.
Raiders keep moving up here.
I think the Dolphins are worse than the Cowboys and the Raiders. I think the Dolphins have a really bad year, man. I
Are the
think.
Dolphins worse than the Cardinals? Do we jump
Yeah,
too high?
I think
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I think they
Okay.
are. Let's put them there. Yeah, because I
Are the Dolphins worse than the Jaguars? No,
no, I
right?
don't think
No,
so.
right?
No,
No.
no. They got
I
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That'll get
and I
them some.
like their coaching better than I like I like McDaniel better than I like Cohen. I do. So
Yeah.
so we're gonna go Dolphins 22.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go just cross out them Cardinals. So the Cardinals move to 21 then.
Yep. That sounds good to me, man.
Okay.
Sounds like a solid projection.
The chat's gone kind of quiet. If you guys got any ideas and you want to throw a team name into the hat when we're discussing this, we'd love to have your input. But if not, we're glad you're here either way. So 20, we're going Cowboys. And we've kind of already discussed why. Not a fan of the leadership of that team. Don't expect them to get better after moving on from McCarthy and moving to Schottenheimer. That's the biggest reason, right?
Yeah, and like if there's people tell me how good Jack Sanborn's good, like stop. They're good. I'm good. Yeah.
Shout out to Foster. Foster loves Sanborn. Thinks he's gonna in for a Pro Bowl year with the Cowboys. We'll see, man. I could see it. I mean, he's going to be in a position to get a lot of tackles for sure.
Somebody on the Cowboys always does. It's usually a white guy.
So 19 now. We're looking Falcons. We're looking Steelers. The Steelers are going to be the second worst team in that division, I think. We already got the Browns in there, but we're talking Falcons, Steelers, Vikings. I mean,
Packers.
I could throw the Rams out there. We could throw the Packers out there. This is where it gets a little tough, right? Because the Bears are coming up here pretty soon too, man.
No,
right?
The Rams are going to be better than the Falcons, man.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, the Texans.
Sean
Are,
McVay is a top 5 coach, man.
we've already listed 3 teams in the AFC South. So that's saying something. We just got out of the 20s and we've already listed 3 teams in the AFC South. The Texans are the only team remaining of them. Okay,
Yeah,
so
they're coming soon.
is this where we put the Raiders at 19? I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
They are in a
Like
tough
I said,
division.
they could suffer 6 losses interdivisionally, and the Falcons got to be next, man.
So Falcons are better than the Raiders in your mind? Or are we doing that? I mean, just straight talent, straight what we expect from these
and
teams.
the division they can get some wins out of, man, with Carolina over there. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
It's a weaker division for sure. It's not even a comparison.
They could get 4 wins between the Saints and the Panthers. So the Falcons, and I like you said, listen, I like what they've done. They've fixed their defense.
Raheem Morris
Made a
needed that badly.
major impact on their defense. Yeah, and their leadership is much better. Yeah.
Raheem Morris was a huge part of that Rams team that won that Super Bowl as the defensive coordinator. I think he's going to get his shit together this second time around, and I think he said these are the pieces I need to make my defense better and competitive, and he got them. So I mean,
and I like Michael Penix.
Worth something to me.
I like Michael Penix.
Yeah. All right. So we're at 18 with the Falcons. Now we're into 17. So it really comes down to, I think we've projected a couple times for the Bears to be second in their division, right? So the Bears are going to be above the Vikings and the Packers.
I'm going to go Vikings here. I think the Packers have a better season than the Vikings.
I don't. So we're going to like kind of draw straws here, I guess.
I think the Vikings win 8 games this year.
And the Packers win 9?
Yeah.
Or they win 8 as well.
I think the Vikings. I had the Vikings at 8. I had the Bears and Packers at 9, and I had the Lions at 10.
I think the Packers are the worst team in this division, man. Anybody in the chat want to throw out what they think? So that's where we're at, though, right?
We're definitely in the north here, yeah. Because we have
17,
18.
17. You don't think the Steelers? No.
No, man, I don't know. Mike Tomlin will find a way.
Okay.
They'll find a way to win some fucking football games.
So it's Vikings or Packers, and I guess we can just go 17-16 Vikings, Packers, and it doesn't matter, right? Vikings.
Yeah, you can throw the Packers there first if you want. I don't care. You can throw them behind the Vikings. I don't care.
I don't care either. So we're going to go Packers should have went 0-6 in the division last year. Packers were a very lucky team, very fluky team. Yeah, for sure. And they were not good against they were not good against good teams. I just on the strength of Kevin O'Connell, honestly, we're gonna go Packers 17. And just Jordan Love. I don't know. And the Vikings 16. So 2 NFC North teams right there, right in the middle of the pack. We expect regression from both, clearly, right?
Yeah. We'll go. And then honestly, man.
Texans, Steelers, Bengals,
Bears.
So you think that Steelers are better than the Bears this year?
Yeah, I do. I think the Steelers are going to beat the Bears.
I don't know, and I don't know, man. That's tough for me to do. So you think that the Texans are better than the Bears too, and the Bengals?
Yes, and yes. You're not going to love who I'm floating in my mind, man. Who's coming up here on this list? I think this Niners team is not at the top of this list.
Could we put the Niners right here, or the Niners just beat the shit out of the Bears last year, and that was the worst Niners team we've seen.
I put the Bears behind the Niners, but the Niners are creeping up here, man. For sure, in my opinion.
Listen, I want it to be us agreeing. I think the Bears being at 15 is a fair projection. I'll just say that. Yeah, because they were one of the worst teams in the NFL last year.
And I think the Bears, Packers, and Vikings finish close to each other in terms of records, man. I do. I think they're going to be very, very close. I think that NFC North is going to be tight, but it's going to be the Lions in charge, and I think everybody else is going to be fighting for that bubble spot in the playoffs, man.
Vizzo says Steelers next. Vizzo's throwing out a vote for the Steelers. I would put the Steelers here and then the Bears, probably. But, 15-14, somewhere in there. 14 puts you in playoff territory, right? That's 7 teams in each conference. You're in that. Obviously, it's going to come down to how many NFC teams versus AFC teams we have left here in the top 14. But 15 means you're you're probably putting the Bears outside of the playoffs.
I think DK Metcalf is an upgrade from George Pickens, and I think Aaron Rodgers is an upgrade from both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
Those are very true statements. I agree with you on both of those things. All right, so we're going 15 Bears, and we're going to see how many playoff teams we have out of the NFC here.
Actually, Dustin, I've said on the show before, I think the Steelers finished with a better record than the Bengals.
That's going to be a close one. The Steelers definitely have a better defense than the Bengals.
The Bengals defense is the Commanders and the Bengals defenses, man.
And they're fucking around with their first round pick. And so
major improvement.
So then are the Bengals next year? Are the Bengals 14? I mean, are the Bengals worse than the Bears? You said no, right? The Bears should go here at 15.
No, the Bears there, yeah.
So the Bears at 15. So then is 14 the Bengals? Based on what you just said, it sounds like
I would
we're putting the Bengals here at 14.
Yep. Which would make them a playoff team.
Potentially. Again, it's about how many AFC we got to see here because
each conference.
Yeah, exactly. But so we got the NFC North just as on a run there. Packers 17, Vikings 16, Bears 15, and then we're going into the AFC North with the Bengals at 14. Who's our 13th team here, man? Is it the Steelers?
Steelers or Niners for me. Yeah, I'm going Steelers or Niners, man.
Wow, I can't believe we have the Steelers this high. I mean, it's hard to bet against Mike Tomlin. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think they're improved. Steelers. I think they're improved, man.
Okay, I'm
with
that.
Defense is also very young. It's not just good; it's fucking young, man. Like there's potential for their defense to be improved. Joey Porter's going to be a better player this year.
And they added Harmon. They added Harmon in the draft, and that's a huge fucking deal, man. That's a huge deal.
Queen's he's an undervalued player, I think, underrated, I should say. I think Queen's a really good linebacker, man.
All right, well, let's get to it, man. We're gonna put the Niners at 13, then, huh?
Yeah.
Niners at 13. That means that we have honestly, bro, I can't put the Niners. I would put the Rams there before the fucking Niners. I
the Rams win that division. You don't?
No, I got the Niners winning that division. Yeah, I think the Niners bounce back in a big way. I mean, I'll give you the Steelers.
Barring health.
Yeah, yes, 100%. You know, they just extended Purdy, Ayuk. They missed him for the whole season last year. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, obviously, Trent Williams.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they dealt with a lot of I mean, their first round pick got shot in the chest in the preseason. Like there's a lot of,
and then got injured again, didn't he?
And I believe in Kyle Shanahan. I'm not putting I will put the Rams 13 before it's the Rams or it's the Steelers.
Did we put the Steelers? Yeah, no, Steelers. Let's put the Steelers.
Steelers 13. Steelers 13. Okay.
I think the Rams and Niners both be potentially better than the Steelers.
Listen, we're not putting the Rams in front of the Niners. We're not doing that.
All right, so then we got to put the Rams in that slot then, based on who's left. Because
the Rams are at 12.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's hard to bet against Sean McVay as well. So I mean, potential playoff team and the Rams, the way it's looking, the way we got this here, and we still got that two teams in the NFC East to get out there as well. We're coming into the top 10 territory here. Number 11, where are we going?
Commanders. I think
Texans?
Texans. Yeah,
Texans.
Yeah.
I might put the Texans below the Rams. Yeah. I don't know how much faith I have in the Texans, man.
No, I think that division is ass, dude. Yeah, let's do it.
So we're gonna put the Texans at 12. We're gonna put the Rams at 11.
Yep.
I like this. I like that we're just workshopping this as we go, man, and kind of crossing some stuff out. It's cool, man. Because again, CJ Stroud regressed last year. Can he get his shit together? I really like the Higgins pick. I think he's gonna be really good across from Nico Collins. But the Texans overall, they just didn't really impress me last year. They couldn't find a way to win important games.
I have no merit to this, man. I could see the fizzling of D'Amico Ryan's tenure. I could see that being a failed project.
I guess that's possible. I believe in D'Amico Ryan's to an extent, man.
He had a really good rookie year as a head coach, but
I mean, they weathered that storm last year and still made the playoffs. So they dealt with a lot of injuries as well. I don't think it's like shitting on the Texans to put them at 12. I think you could put them as low as 15. Honestly, it's close, but I mean, I think 12 is a good
I
spot for
think
the
they can go
Texans.
5-1 in their division.
Yeah, because that division sucks so bad.
Yeah.
Yes, so I mean, like you got to account for that as well, right? So I think the NFC West is a much tougher division. So putting the Rams ahead of the Texans makes sense. I do like their coaching a lot better than the Texans, and I like their quarterback better than C.J. Stroud. Honestly, I would rather have Stafford in a game I needed to win than C.J. Stroud as of right now. And that might not be a
So
popular opinion, but it's my opinion.
next to me, man, it's Commanders or Niners.
At number 10, I can after what we saw last year, man, and you can always bet on regression. That's easy to do. But after what we saw last year with Jaden Daniels and that team, it would be really hard for me to put the
When you know
Commanders.
Dan Quinn's going to straighten that defense out, it's not going to be they're going to be ass forever, dude.
Yeah, I mean that's where he's cut his teeth throughout his career. He's a damn good defensive coordinator first, and I mean they've tried to make improvements to that defense. They were really bad last year. They were really, really. I don't think people realize how bad that defense was last year. So
Yeah, egregious.
yeah,
Seven
so
touchdowns, rushing
10,
touchdown.
but I can't put the Niners ahead of the Commanders. I can't.
Yeah,
So we're
I'm
gonna
good with the Niners being here.
Niners at 10,
They're winning
and
their
then
division with like 10
so
games, 10
real
wins.
quick, let's just discuss this. So the Commanders are obviously below the Eagles. Are the Commanders worse than the Broncos? We still have the
Yes.
Broncos, the Chargers, and the
Dude,
Chiefs.
I think the Broncos are going to be fighting for the best record in the NFL.
Are the Commanders below the Chargers?
Yeah.
Really? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I
Jim
love Jim.
Harbaugh.
You know how, bro? I was like the only guy that picked the Chargers to go to the playoffs last year, of all of us. You know
Yeah,
how I
I think
feel
they
about
get
Harbaugh.
better. I think they get better, man.
Well, they added the running back that they needed in Hampton.
It's so much easier for me to believe that the Chargers get better just the same as the Commanders get worse, man. It is.
Well, here I think we got to put the Chargers at 9. I'm not ready to put the Commanders down yet, and we still got the Buccaneers to get to as well. The Buccaneers are.
The Buccaneers are going to hammer that division, dude.
I understand, but I'm
6-0.
talking about their talent against these other teams. So, like the Buccaneers are better than the Commanders.
Yeah, record-wise, yes. Yes, they are. I think they are. Yes.
And the Chargers
I've said this on this show like probably about a month ago, man, maybe a little longer. I think the Buccaneers. It was me and Sean were doing the show. I think the Buccaneers just clean that division.
They should
like
easily win that division.
I think they're like a 12-win team this year, man.
They should easily win that division. That's for sure. But does that make them better than the Commanders? Does that make them better than the Chargers? That's an honest question.
I think they are. I think they win that division, and I think they come out of the NFC with as the second seed behind the Eagles. I think the Commanders come out of the NFC as the number.
What up,
2
real
seed.
Bears fan? It's all good, man. We're on late too. Glad you're here. Hit that like button. So then, listen, I gotta at least get the Chargers in here before we put the Commanders down. Okay, I think we're really betting on a lot of regression from the Commanders if we're gonna put them. And again, I'm one of the biggest proponents of Jim Harbaugh, and I was on this team last year. I knew they were going to be a playoff team, and they were, and I think they'll be a playoff team again this year. But I mean, they're in a tough division as well, and they're playing the Chiefs and the Broncos. And honestly, I would put the Broncos behind the Commanders as well. I would not put the Broncos ahead of the Commanders.
No way I'm doing that. I think the Broncos are going to be competing for a Super Bowl, dude.
So that's you think the Broncos are competing for a Super Bowl?
I think the Broncos roster has become one of the
best. That defense is really fucking good. And this is good because we get to have this conversation and kind of talk it out.
I believe in Harvey. I like Sean. Sean's preached a lot. I like Harvey. I think he's a solid running back. I think he can be a starting running back in the NFL. I think that the Cortland Sutton, the addition of, I don't know, who was it? Who they add to the receiving core? Oh, Pat Bryant. I like Pat Bryant.
Well, they drafted Pat Bryant. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much.
In the NFL.
But I don't know how much impact he's going to have his rookie season.
I like Cortland Sutton. I like Marvin Mims, man. I like
Cortland Sutton.
I think Sean Payton moves that offense in a forward direction once again. I think as long as Sean Payton's there, the offense will continue to take small strides, man. I do. And
the Commanders were in the NFC Championship last year, and Jaden Daniels had like the bet. I can't bet. I feel like we are drastically
but
overrating the Broncos.
The Commanders were like the 5th seed. This is the 9th seed. I mean, I'm not saying they're like falling off the face of the earth, man.
I feel, but I'm not. I'm talking them in comparison to the Broncos. I feel like we're drastically overrating the Broncos. The fact that
didn't the Broncos have a better record?
The Broncos finished
10-6.
The Broncos finished 10-6 last year. They did, and
10-7 or 11-6.
Well, 10-7, yeah, 10-7. Sorry, yeah. The Broncos had 10 wins last year.
Yeah, I think they improve. I think they're an improved football team.
I'm having a real problem here putting the Commanders.
I also like Bo Nix and Sean Payton's system sustaining success versus Cliff Kingsbury. I like.
So here's the question to me: Are the Chargers better than the Broncos?
No, absolutely not. I think you're selling the Broncos short, man. I think Sean Payton, that's a Hall of Fame coach who's going to make that shit work.
Real Bears fan says picking Commanders and Denver to miss the playoffs.
No, they both. Oh, he is.
He's picking them to miss the playoffs. All right. So
that Broncos team is frightening, man. They allowed the least points per game. They just added Jahdae Barron. I mean, this is a really good football team, man. And Sean Payton his offense will not regress.
We're going to have 3 AFC West teams in our top 10. I
think we should.
That's crazy.
We absolutely should.
All right, so 9 is the Chargers. 8 is the Commanders. And now 7, is that the Buccaneers or is that the Broncos?
Broncos, because the division. I think the Buccaneers are going to finish with the 2nd best record in the NFC, behind the Philadelphia.
Bill, what up, bro? Bears fan for life in the building.
And by the way, Dustin, we went over the schedule for the Buccaneers on this.
Oh yeah,
bare minimum. It is a cakewalk, dude.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in the NFC South, that's a good starting.
But even the teams outside of that, I mean, they've got a pretty. They have like a 7-game section where they're just playing nobody, man. I mean, like I could really see this Buccaneers team finishing with the 2nd best record in the NFC.
Okay, so right now our top 10 is rounding out like this. Number 10, we got the Niners. Number 9, we got the Chargers. Number 8, we got the Commanders. 7, the Broncos. I'm kind of liking this. And 6, we got the Bucks. So now we're getting into our top 5, and this is going to be interesting.
I would put the Buccaneers ahead of the Lions. I know you're going to disagree with me about that.
No. We're not going to do that. We can go Lions right here at number 5.
Yeah, we should. I think they win the division with 10 wins.
I think if we're picking the Lions to get 10 wins, then the Bears have a real shot at winning that division.
I think the Bears have 9 wins. I predicted this division to be very close, man. Well, very tight-knit race.
What Chris Foster is saying right here, and I know I'm not calling you by your name on YouTube, but I know that you're Chris Foster. He says, bad timing for Bears to have the hardest schedule ever. We rank the Bears 15. Given that they have the hardest schedule this season of any team, the way it looks on paper right now. Now, that could change, but yeah, I agree. The Bears are going to need a year probably to just recover from this schedule.
By the way, the Lions also have a brutal schedule.
Yeah. But the Lions have the pedigree. The Lions have the consistency. They did lose their top 2 coordinators, so that is going to mean regression in some kind of facet. But I'm not willing to put them behind the Bucks right now because of it. I mean,
really?
I'm not. So we're going Lions 5.
Did you put the Bucks at 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Lions 5.
So 4, we got the Eagles, we got the Chiefs, we got the Bills, and we got the Ravens. That's what we have left here.
I'm gonna go Chiefs
at 4.
Yeah,
that's tough to do, man. So there's no way to put the Bills here.
I think the Bills have the best record in the NFL.
Really?
I think they have the best regular season in the NFL. Yeah.
I feel like we're paying I feel like we're paying. This is not power rankings based on their schedule. So I just want to say, like, I don't want to focus so much on their schedule because we've done that. That's being done everywhere. It's more about the talent on these rosters, defensively, offensively, and their quarterback and their coaching. So if I'm talking coaching, who are you
Well,
taking
if you're
in
doing that,
between
we're just
McDermott
going to
and
throw
Andy
the
Reid?
Chiefs up there. Yeah, we're going to throw the
Well,
Chiefs at number one if we're talking about
if,
that.
if we're talking about, well, not necessarily, because I think Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson have something to say about this too. But are you comparing Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes? You picking Allen or Mahomes in that conversation? Because I'm taking Mahomes.
Probably Allen.
You're taking Allen. I would take Mahomes. Now, if in terms of the defense, just overall defense, Bills or Chiefs?
The Bills are really improved, man, but I'll probably still say the Chiefs' defense is better.
I would too, especially because their defensive coordinator is Spagnuolo. Now, offensive weapons.
I don't love either. Xavier Worthy's the best of all of them, but I don't love either.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs have an edge there as well.
Yeah, I do think. Listen, I liked
offensive line. It's
I
they
liked
lost Tooney, but
what's his name, man? I liked the receiver on the Bills, man. He was a rookie last year.
Keon Coleman.
I like Coleman. I do. I think Coleman.
And there's a lot of hype and a lot of buzz around him.
He's not done. I think he's gonna get.
Well, clearly not. He was a rookie. Yeah, and he's got Josh Allen as his quarterback, and he's huge. So he better improve. Khalil Shakir is a damn good receiver. Yeah. So I mean, maybe you give them the edge there, but Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce.
We'll put the Bills here, and we'll go Chiefs ahead of the Bills, and then we got to decide Ravens or Eagles, man.
So we're going Bills 4, Chiefs 3.
I'll go Ravens. I think the Eagles have the best right. The Eagles they got so much better in the offseason, which is insane to even try to fathom, man.
Yeah, man, it's hard when a team wins the Super Bowl the way that the Eagles did in such a dominant fashion, and then they improve through the draft.
Yeah, it's scary.
Jahad Campbell on that team.
And Andrew McCuba.
Something. Oh my God, it's going to be something.
The start of a dynasty, dude. And
yeah,
if you're looking at
feels like
with Quenyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and Andrew McCuba, I mean that. Good Lord.
Yeah, not only are they extremely talented,
the best secondary in the NFL.
Not only are they extremely talented, they're extremely deep. Yes, Phil. So I mean, like, I think the Eagles got to be number one on this list, no doubt about it. You always
listen. I think Jalen Carter, Dustin, is going to explode this year,
like Reggie White style. Like dominant
sack numbers fly through the roof.
Unstoppable. Yes, I agree, man. You always give the Super Bowl winning team the benefit of the doubt going into the next season, and then when they have an off season like they had on top of it, it's just. I mean, they did lose some pieces in free agency. Obviously, you can't pay everybody, but they did a damn good. Yeah. They did a damn good job in replacing them, I think, and filling some other areas of need. So yeah, the Eagles are the best team in the league to me.
Listen,
I agree.
I don't want to discredit Sweat at all, man. The guy is a good football
player.
Josh
Sweat, he was overpaid immensely. I think
the system the Eagles run, whoever fills that slot next, man, is going to be the guy that's getting sacks.
It's possible. Not, it is a loss nonetheless. So I mean that does.
And I think with the improvement improvement that I project from Jalen Carter will affect that entire line.
I think we see Lamar Jackson kind of destroy the league this year. I think Lamar Jackson gets some monkeys off his back. I think because we're putting
Henry hasn't slowed down.
Yeah, man. Just because we're putting the Eagles at number one doesn't mean like the Ravens can't win the Super Bowl. I think that this is the time for Lamar Jackson and that Ravens team to get over those hurdles. But putting them number two, they're pretty fucking high up there, man. And I think Lamar Jackson's gonna have a lot to.
Sounds pretty it's pretty solid to me, dude. Yeah,
it's pretty solid.
I think our top 5 teams. Oh, dude, it's
I saw the fly.
It's gonna fly into my mouth, bro. But I think the top 5 teams you could switch them around a little bit, man. But I mean, we're probably pretty spot on that.
All right, so I like our top 10, but we'll get to our top 10. I want to go through the whole list because there's some people joining us late. We did just kind of do this off the top of our heads, guys. We didn't have anything planned here. But from 32 to 1, we got the Saints, Titans, Colts, Browns. Those are the 4 worst teams in the league in our mind. Jets are right there. I love where we put the Jets at 28. Panthers at 27.
The Jets, dude.
Yeah, fuck the Jets. 26, we got the Patriots. 25, the Seahawks. We expect some regression there. 24, the Giants. But we do seem high on them a little bit too at the same time. But like
I
think
think
that
putting them at 24 is high. I think people project them to be the worst team in the
yeah,
NFL, man.
I
I
think
can't bring
Dayball's
myself with that defensive front. I cannot do that.
yeah, I think Dayball and Shane still lose their jobs again, barring the fact that Jackson Dart just turns into a stud,
And
which
I want
I
to say
don't
this,
see
guys.
happening.
This is one of the most important units in the game. And if you put together like the Giants team that won 2 Super Bowls with the Kiwanukas, Umanyoras, Michael Strahans, I mean, you and Jason Pierre-Paul, they're doing this all over again, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you put 4 studs. I believe Abdul Carter, Dustin, is going to be, I think he was behind Travis Hunter, unquestionably the most talented player in this draft. I think if Abdul Carter, not only being as talented as he is, gets to play across with the likes of Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns and Thibodeau, I mean, that guy is walking in. We always think about the situation that an offensive player steps into. You know what I mean? When we're talking about draft picks, Abdul Carter is going to a dream. He's
Yeah,
he's
no,
going to
it's
be
gonna
one
be
on one with so many players in the league, man.
until they have to double him, and then
Yeah.
Thibodeau is going to be 1-on-1, and Burns is gonna, yeah. So like, it's just going to be tough for teams to play against that defensive line. But there's some interesting stuff on this list that I want to get to. So let's keep moving. 23, we got the Jaguars. I think that's a little high for them, probably, but that's where they are. 22, Dolphins. 21, Cardinals. 20, Cowboys. We are not high on the Cowboys. They will not be a playoff team. 19, Raiders. And I do want to say that I'm higher on them than that rating suggests, but they are in a very tough division. 3 of the other 3 teams in their division are in our top 10. So that's why the Raiders end up at 19. Falcons 18. We're going to see improvement from that team. I think
that's
that
a good
defense,
spot for the Falcons, man.
yeah, I think that defense gets better. They're competing for playoffs from that spot. 17, we got the Packers. 16, we got the Vikings. 15, we got the Bears. The 3 teams straight in the NFC North. 14, Bengals. 13, Steelers. 12, Texans. 11, we got the Rams. 10, our top 10 now. 10 is Niners. 9 is Chargers. 8 is Commanders. 7 is Broncos. And Razzle says he likes our list. Thanks, Razzle. Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, Razzle.
7 is Broncos. 6, we got the Bucks. 5, the Lions. 4, the Bills. We went back and forth between the Bills and the Chiefs there. It's close. Bills, Chiefs. Chiefs at 3. Ravens at 2. 1 at Eagles. Now, I don't know if anybody's done the math yet in terms of this list, but we have the Bears at 15, middle of the pack, but they're a playoff team. If our rankings were, because the Bengals would be out.
Did not do that intentionally.
No,
I didn't even know that until you just said it now.
I just noticed it because the Eagles would be the number 1 seed, the Lions the number 2 seed, the Bucks would be the 3, Commanders 4, Niners 5, Rams 6, and Bears 7. And that puts the Bengals outside of the playoffs again, which makes sense for the Bengals too. Like, because their offense will keep them in games, but they're going to lose close ones consistently enough to where that puts them just outside the playoffs, just like they did last year. So in this scenario, the Steelers will be the 7 seed, Texans the 6, Chargers the 5, or whatever. I mean, it's going to change based on division stuff. But the Broncos will be the 4, the Bills will be the 3, Chiefs will be the 2, and the Ravens will be the 1 seed. So those are our playoff teams, with the Bengals on the outside looking in and the Steelers edging them out for that 7th seed in the AFC,
Which is
man.
what happened last year.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because we just did this off the cuff. We have the Bears as a playoff team, guys. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like the way that turned out because we were kind of back and forth about where to put the Bears. I think 15 makes sense for the Bears, and I think that's a pretty good ceiling for them to hit, honestly, considering where they were last year to what we should realistic expectations for them, barely getting into the playoffs. That would be amazing to see the Bears in the playoffs this year. And we'll see how it plays out, but this is our list, guys. I like our list too, Razzle. I like it too. Brandon, what do you think?
I love it. And I want to say, because I'm sure the one team that people heard that are probably like, well, I just don't know. Listen, I'm going to defend this. The Buccaneers have probably, I think, the weakest strength of schedule. Like, the schedule was a cakewalk. And on top of that, they just drafted Egbuka with Jalen McMillan and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and Baker Mayfield's
It's
doing
too
his thing.
much. They got
Baker
too much.
Mayfield turned into the guy that he was projected to be, man.
Fucking love Baker Mayfield, man. I fucking love Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
So having
that
the
is,
Bucks at 6, that's interesting.
yeah.
That'll be
I think they could be the second best record in the NFC behind the Eagles, man. The Lions will give them a run, but I think they could.
you could flip flop the Bucks and the Lions. We kind of had a little discussion about it, but it's again just based on what we've seen the past couple of years. But you believe that the Lions are in for regression. So I mean, we could easily flop those two. Do you want to do that? Or I mean,
No, it's
do
fine.
you,
No, let's leave. No, let's
no?
leave it how it is. No, because it's works. It worked, man. And it was so funny that we're just doing this based on the roster, and
Mm-hmm.
the Bears ended up in the playoffs because before you look at the scenario, before you're breaking down the scenario, the possibilities of Ben Johnson's shortcomings as a rookie head coach, and no, the left tackle positions is a concern, and all those things, man. If you're looking at the roster, I believe the Bears could be the seventh seed in the NFC. They absolutely have the team to do it.
Yeah, Colin Cowherd was just predicting the Bears for the playoffs. I heard the other day. Yeah,
With
I mean,
their roster, if we're looking at these teams on a piece of paper, man, the Bears would be moving up my list.
yeah, and we did consider schedule here a little more than I wanted to, but you kind of have to. You have to. Yeah, consider the division that these teams are in, and the biggest thing that I could see not happening on our top 10 is 3 AFC West teams making it just because they beat the shit out of each other.
And
But that happened last year. Those 3 teams were all in the playoffs last year. It's
when
totally
you read it,
probable.
I love the Jets. I love the Cowboys because this goes so far against the grain, and I don't see what everybody. I'm not fucking buying. I'm not drinking
Yeah, I'm not.
Kool-Aid. And
Neither am I.
the one thing that you threw back at me when you read that, man, that I was like, ugh. I think the Dolphins could be even further back.
It's possible. I mean, when you're talking about flipping them around, it's like, do the Patriots overcome them in that division?
Yeah.
I guess that's possible. But given what we know right now, it's tough to put the Patriots ahead of the Dolphins. The Seahawks could be better than the Dolphins? I could definitely see that. We could easily flop the Seahawks from 25 to 22 and put the Dolphins at 25.
That Dolphins team's got bad written all over him.
There's
some
concerns there.
I don't know that he remains a head coach in the NFL.
He might be a guy that's more of an offensive mind, and he's always seems way too laid back. But I mean, like, he is who he is at the very least, and I mean, he's gotten some success. He got them to the playoffs, So I mean, like, this is the make or break year for Mike McDaniel and that Dolphins team. That's for sure. And if this happens, you might see him out of a job if they're the
and he'll get another one real quickly, but it won't be as a head coach.
Yeah, for sure. I think this list came out real interesting, and the Raiders are right where I wanted them to, because they will be competitive in that division, but they won't have enough. But and some just below the middle of the pack makes sense. I have high hopes for the Raiders this year. There's just something about, and honestly,
I think Gentry's going to tear the league up, man.
Yeah, he is, and the other rookie they got, the receiver Jack Besh, he's going to be one of the best rookie receivers.
Besh?
Yes, it is.
Beck.
It's Besh.
Oh, sorry,
at least
sorry to him.
And we're about to get into some other pronunciations, and I have not looked up the Bulls draft picks.
I got it.
I've heard it said multiple ways, so I'm curious. But I think Jack Besh is going to be a damn good rookie receiver, one of the best in the league this year on that Raiders team, because they needed that guy desperately. So this list, we're going to keep it. Maybe we'll put a top 10 out there on our Facebook page. Maybe do some stuff with it. But we're going to keep this
video. I'll put a video together for TikTok or something.
Yeah, let's do it, man. But that was fun. That was fun, man. I enjoyed
the Bears made the playoffs. The Bears are in the playoffs, guys.
Yeah, that was not planned. We keep winning in the offseason. Way to find content. I know Razzle hates these projections too, but man, again, like I said, we gotta have some shit to talk about. So here we are. All right, man. Moving on. Like, the Bulls just had a draft, and I think it went pretty well. I've seen mixed reviews. I've seen some people that think that they wasted this pick.
I have not seen a single negative review.
I've seen it. It's out there, but I love this pick.
A lot of good things.
I think for the second year in a row, the Bulls have nailed the number 12 pick and got a top 5 talent in the draft that late in the lottery.
Wasn't Buzelis 11? I think Buzelis was 11.
So in the back half of the lottery, towards the end of the lottery, that they've gotten a top 5 talent where they shouldn't have fallen. Can we get the pronunciation of his name, please?
Asenge.
Asenge. I've heard a sang. I've heard a shong when I'm watching the highlights.
His name is Noah Asenge. So what I watched a bunch of his highlights, man, and when like the
announcers,
when the Spanish speaking culture, like when those announcers were said, they said like a very tongue rolling Asangwe, but when I heard like British announcers, it was Asenge. And then I Googled enunciation and pronunciation, and it says ESS-EN-gay. So
those French. Listen, man, I love this pick. And if you guys hear me talk about the Bulls, I knock this front office often, early and hard and often. I've had a lot of problems with things that they've done. The draft pick of Matas Buzelis last year, the draft pick this year of Noah Asenge, who was my number 1 guy for the for the Bulls. Sorry, got to switch gears here. For the Bulls going into this draft, they nailed those. And they traded Caruso for a guy who was a top 10 talent in his draft, and I thought that was a steal as well, and that's proven to be so. So they have made some good moves. So I do want to give credit where it is due, and I am very excited for the potential of a front court that is Matas Buzelis. If he can put on some weight, and Noah Asenge, I think the Bulls could be looking at the next potential Lob City type of team, man. These guys are athletic, they are long, they are fast. Giddey can run the break, Kobe White can run the break. When you start thinking about how these things build up, you get a little excited. I understand Asenge is a project. He's 18 years old, but when you're drafting that late in the lottery, you got to take a chance on upside, on the athleticism and the youth and the potential development. And the Bulls fucking nailed this in my mind, Brandon.
Yeah, and it seems like they have a type, man, which I'm okay with because this is kind of the way the direction the league is going. They like these long guys, these athletic guys. They Buzelis and Asenge can almost be compared to one another physically. They're guys who, if they put some, I mean, do you remember when Giannis was drafted? The skinny little thing that guy was as a rookie,
and nobody knew who the fuck Giannis was. Nobody, people were shocked by that pick.
And he's not French; he was Greek. But I mean, it feels very similar, doesn't it? And this guy can shoot a 3. He needs to get better at it, but he plays above the rim. And he plays with a lot of energy. And you know what, man? He was one of only 3 French players in the EuroLeague to average 12 points or more per game. Guys, as history has shown it, those guys end up being pretty solid players in the NBA as far as the recent past would say. But I like this guy, man. I like, and the video you share.
He's a great defender too, Brandon.
He averages. I think he averaged 2 steals a game. For a guy who's
and he can block. He's a great shot blocker. He gets into passing lanes and his speed and his hops. Yeah,
dude. The thing that I was like, guys, you're gonna see this immediately on the court. This dude can fucking pass. I mean, like the spinning the ball off the court to go another direction, kind of like this guy's got some stuff, man.
He can handle the ball pretty well for his size too, Brennan.
Yeah, no, this is a great pick. This was a really, really, really weak draft. A super weak draft.
So get this kind of upside in this draft where they were picking Brandon. I think that's a coup. I think the Bulls got to be commended for being, listen, the fact that they're that late in the lottery is a problem because they're not tanking the way they need to get the best talent. But where they're at in the draft, where they're and what they're coming away with, I'm very happy with it. And you can kind of see a vision starting to develop. Again, I don't know if Asenge is going to be a part of this, like a key part of this roster this season. I think you gotta throw your young guys out there and just let them run, man. I think you got to let this team run. That's the only way to have it.
I don't see what the point of. There is no way this guy's thinking playing. And if
we saw Matas get slow played last year, man, and I thought the same thing about him. So I mean, like that tends to happen, and it takes some time. But like, I can envision it working out really well with Matas and Asenge in the front court together. If either one of them can put on some weight, and again, you brought up Giannis. For every Giannis, there's 100 other guys that were drafted with those hopes that don't turn into shit. Let's be honest about it. It's a crapshoot.
In the NBA, it has a lot to do with how hard you work. If this guy is a hardworking kid, on and off, like outside of the Bulls arena, outside of the Bulls facilities, I mean, if this guy is working his ass off to be the best pro he can be, the NBA gives you that opportunity. Kobe White proved that, man. You got to work hard. It's you don't just take your athletic abilities and expect it to transition onto the court. That's not how this sport works. You've got to be the guy
Well,
that
part of it.
shoots the 1,000 free throws after practice is over, man. You know what I mean? You got to be the Jimmy Butlers. Jimmy Butler was the 30th pick in the draft. He was projected to be a good two-way player, but a better defender than anything else. He's turned into a fucking all-star in
What
this
did I
league.
tell you when the Bulls drafted Jimmy Butler, Brandon? He's going to be a fucking stud. I told you that. And he was going to develop a much better shot than he had credit for. Asenge has the makings of a shot. Like, that's one thing that he doesn't really have. He has the makings of it. If he can get coached and get those shots up, then that could be another element that you add to his game. I just love the fact that listen, if it would have been Derek Queen, I would have been so pissed. I told you guys that
Well, I
before
was
the
going to say,
draft.
Dustin, it took some bad decisions from teams prior to
Let's
them.
not go with the floor here. Let's not go with the highest floor. Derek Queen's floor and his ceiling are pretty damn close together. The ceiling for Asenge is much higher up there, and I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, and I think the Bulls had some fortune on their side. I think some of the teams ahead of them made some pretty questionable picks, and I think that Asenge fell in their lap. And kudos to Karnisovas for identifying a talent that. I mean, the more I watch this kid, man, he's got all the makings, the same as Puzelis did, and he played one.
He's a baller.
He was able to play a game against some pros, and he looked really fucking good, man.
Put up 20 points in that game, I believe.
He looked really good. And his game, the way he plays, is what the NBA requires out of a big man today, man. This guy's 6'9". He's not a guard. I mean, he's
6'10", depending on.
Yeah, he's gonna play.
I
know, right? And the 6'9" looks. I was thinking, watching him play, man. I'm like, this guy's only 6'9".
No, he's 6'10". He's listed as 6'10" and everything I've seen.
He's a tall kid, man, and this is.
But I mean, he could still grow too. If you remember when Giannis got drafted, he grew like another 3 inches after he got drafted.
He's 18 years old.
Yeah. So I mean, there's potential for that. There's potential to add to his frame. You don't know how much that will impact his game, but I just want to say, man, I've read a few. I don't know how many draft grades you've read, but the Bulls, from the guys at Wasserman, Pelton for ESPN, Wasserman for Bleacher Report, they're giving the Bulls A's. They're giving because they liked the talent. I think Wasserman had Senge as the number 4 or number 5 guy on his overall board. Like, there's multiple outlets that had this guy as a top 5 talent in this draft. So the Bulls really, really got a steal here. In my mind, it's going to take some time. I think it's not going to happen overnight, obviously, but I love the potential with this kid, and I just love that the Bulls are taking some chances on these guys that, you know, have these very high ceilings. Because again, you could see it kind of starting to come together, where you could see the makings of a competitive team here in a couple of years. They're not ready to compete this year, and I don't want them to. I want them to run the young guys, lose games, but figure out how to develop these players on the way and continue to add more talent, young talent to this team. The Bulls need that desperately. So I'm happy they got this guy.
For what it's worth, because it's Casey Johnson, who is the Bulls' primary writer, he does show some bias. This guy's very positive about the Bulls, no matter what they're going through.
Yeah, consistently, yeah.
But he says he sees the making of a Pascal Siakam in this player.
That's who Jonathan Wasserman had his comp as. And I mean, if that's the case, then you got a guy who's a multiple-time All-Star type of player. I mean, Siakam, you saw how much he meant to that Pacers team. Obviously, he's a veteran now, and his game is completely different than it was when he came in the league. He was more of a high motor guy, a bouncy guy, lanky guy, just like what we're talking about with Asenge. But he still was able to make an impact on those Raptors teams when he was younger too. And then his game developed.
Oh, he was a huge part of that championship.
What it comes down to for the Bulls, man, is can they develop this young talent? Is Matas going to turn into what?
That's where my greatest fear lies. Yeah, it's Donovan. Yeah. I don't see it. Patrick Williams turned into a nobody, and he might have been no matter where he was.
I didn't like the Patrick Williams pick from the start. I mean, I wanted Halliburton all the way, if you remember going into that draft, man. But like, They took that was another one where they went for the ceiling, I think, but I just didn't see it. But the development is what it comes down to. You've seen guys that they've shipped off, Laurie Markkinen, Wendell Carter, guys that had, upside that they weren't able to tap into, and then it got tapped into elsewhere. So that's your biggest concern with the Bulls. Are they focused on the player development? Is this kid going to get an opportunity to play? And are the Bulls going to be okay with just, not competing for a play-in? The play-in don't do shit for you, no way. Let these young guys run, take the L's, and figure it out. Resign Giddey. You're starting to find a core here that you can potentially build around, but it's going to take a couple of years, and it's going to take us having a lot of patience with AK and Eversley if they stay here, man.
And you should reminisce a little bit about what you were texting me today, Dustin, because I think this perspective that Bulls fans have lost sight of. You said that the things that they've done poorly have really outweighed what they've done in the last 2 years, and I agree with you. The drafting of Buzelis, the trading for Giddey, which, my God, man, go. I mean, yes, the Thunder just won a championship, and Caruso helped
The
them get
drafting
there,
of Kobe White, and then the signing of him, that 3-year, $48 million deal, that was a
the
steal of a
signing of
contract.
Io was a good
Yeah,
contract for Io.
the drafting of Io. I mean, they've done some good things. They held out way too long on moving these pieces, and hopefully, honestly, the next thing here needs to be for the Bulls that they move Vooch and they open up some playing time for these young guys. Buzelis needs to be on the floor for 30 minutes a game this coming season, and you got to find a role for Asenge too. I think I don't want to see this guy in the G League.
If they can just let go of this stubborn mindset that they're a team that might win something, man, they could really start to do something here, man. Like,
I think a lot of that comes down to Donovan, Brandon, because like he always feels like he can get his team to
extended,
win.
so he knows his job is safe, man. He should just start letting these young guys. And with Buzelis, Giddey, and Asenge now, I like the core. If you get rid of the old timers, man, if the core does not involve Vooch and Lonzo Ball and Patrick Williams, I like what they've got going here, man. If the core is Asenge, Buzelis, Giddey, these are the guys who are going to play most of your minutes. You're going to lose some basketball games, like you said. I will watch that team all fucking day, Dustin.
It'll be fun. At least they're going to have to run. They're going to have to
I
run.
want to see what Buzelis can become. I want to see Asenge just get his feet wet. I would love. Josh Giddey is a really fun player to watch, man. It's time to get this whole stuff out of here, dude. That's the stuff I don't want to watch no more.
Yeah, man, and you like guys like Io, and I love Kobe White, and he was the guy I wanted the Bulls to take in that draft. I thought he was the best option for him at number 7 in that draft, and that's proven to be true, I think. And Kobe White still has room to develop as well. So I mean, like there is something brewing here. As much as I'm down on the Bulls, I am happy with some of the moves that they've made, and again, it's not just about knocking them. Give them credit where it's due. But at the end of the day, you do need that guy that just takes over games. The Bulls still don't have that guy. And to find that guy, you gotta be appealing in free agency. And free agency has not been the greatest for the NBA recently, just in terms of the players available. But you got to find that guy in free agency and be appealing to that guy, or you got to get him in the draft. And to do that, you can't be drafting at 11 or 12. You got to be drafting at number 1 to get that guy. You need the Cooper Flag. You need that guy. You need the Victor Wembanyama.
I was just gonna say you got to be in the sweepstake for that dude, because the NBA draft is getting weaker and weaker, guys. These kids are coming out earlier and earlier. There's no real studs in NBA draft. It's all potential. It's all ceiling. Besides the 1 or 2 guys that lead the reins, man, you're drafting based on projection, physical traits, and very little experience, very little film, and it's changed. There used to be, this draft used to have 7 or 8 of these guys. Now it's down to 1.
It varies draft to draft. It does.
Well, and sometimes you get I didn't think Alex Sarr was all that, and he's turning out to be a stud, man. So I thought last year Wemby was the only guy that was going to be turning heads, but I was wrong. And
last year it was Reza Shea was the number. It wasn't Wemby. Wemby was 2 years.
Reza Shea and Sarr.
Yeah, Reza Shea and Sarr were listen, I mean, Jokic,
and then
all that being
Coffee, I think was 3rd.
All that being said, Brandon, Jokic was an unathletic guy drafted in the 2nd round, and he's the best player in basketball. So I mean, you just never know. Could Asenge be the next Giannis? I don't think so. I don't think that's what you're looking for. If his ceiling is Pascal Siakam, then that's pretty damn good. And again, for drafting at 11, that's pretty damn good. You want to get higher up in these drafts. So if you want to really increase, cut down on that time it's going to take you to be a competitive basketball team. I'm sick of seeing the Bulls just be mediocre and spin the wheels and stay in the same place and end up losing in the play-in. Like you got to pick a direction here.
Yeah. And my point was
hopefully this is the start of that.
In an NBA draft, if you want guaranteed talent and not potential, you got to be a top 3 pick, man. You got to be picking. You got to be picking somewhere in the top 3. The rest of these guys, it's all wait and see. Cooper Flag was that dude. Beyond that, it was. We'll see. What was that?
That's for this guy, Connor, joining us.
Oh, he's back. Connor always jumps in super fucking late, man. You just get off of work or something?
No, I just got off of BBC. Thanks for joining us, Connor. Hit that like button. We appreciate you, brother. So yeah, the Bull, and they also drafted this guy Ulbrich in the 2nd round. Wasserman really liked that pick too. I mean, we had a very fun text exchange. Let's not get into it, man. We're already at 2 hours and 10 minutes here. But apparently this guy
he looks old.
Wasserman called him a poor man's Domantas Sabonis. That was his comp. He's a
guard, isn't he?
No, he's a center. He's 6'10". Well, that
would be nice. I'll take a poor man's
Fuck yeah. But again, people really like that pick. So the Bulls got. I keep calling them the Bears because I'm just so it's the Bears.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But the Bulls had a solid draft by all counts, and I just wanted to give them some credit for that. I am a Bulls fan, and hopefully they're moving in a direction that makes more sense than where they've been. Next step is trading Vooch, hopefully trading Lonzo, and God damn it, could you find someone to take Patrick Williams off your hands? Like, let's just
pay somebody to take Patrick Williams.
Let's clear the way for some of these younger guys that actually
do it before he gets injured. Do it now.
But yeah, I just want to say I love the Bulls pick, and I'm a happy Bulls fan today because of it. So yeah. And then after that, we haven't done a movie review in a long time, Brandon. I can't remember the last one we did. I think it was
Nosferatu.
Oh yeah, we did the Bob Dylan movie. Yeah. But we both watched Sinners recently. Heard a lot about it. A lot of people talking about it, and I was interested to see
by all sources. By the way, great reviews.
Yeah,
this movie.
Yeah, and I mean,
Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, it got the works, dude. Which doesn't normally happen. Go ahead.
It doesn't normally happen with vampire movies. Were you gonna say
horror with like monster films? But then I was gonna say that's because it's not what it was.
Well, not particularly, right? But I mean, also these ratings do get increased by cultural things too. Let's just be honest about.
Yeah, they fit the narratives that they'll get a better grade.
Connor wants us to review American History X. Fucking awesome movie. Love that movie. I'll just say that. Edward Norton at his finest.
Still have nightmares about some of the scenes in that film. Man.
Yeah. The curb stomping and the shower scenes. Those aren't very fun. Edward Furlong, going down at the end. Yeah, spoiler alert, Edward Furlong gets shot in the fucking head. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, we're not reviewing American History X. We're reviewing Sinners. Brandon, what were your thoughts on this movie, man? I'll let you go first. Vampire movie, technically, right?
Yeah, well, I'll start there, man. It was different. It was. I kept telling people that after I watched it was interesting. It hit a few genres. It rolled out kind of like a drama. It had obviously some horror aspect to it. I thought Michael B. Jordan did a great job portraying two characters who were very different.
Yeah, he was awesome. Love Michael B. Jordan.
Tom Hardy did it in Legend or whatever. I forget Legends. I think where you have to play two twin brothers, and it's really tough, guys. I mean, to wrap your head around the idea.
Legend was a lot better than people gave it credit for. I just want to say that. It was a lot better. I enjoyed that more than it got panned. It did not do well, but yeah.
Portraying two different characters is tough. Two entirely different personalities in the same film is a tough thing to do, and Michael B. Jordan did a great job at it, man. And I liked the music. I know we disagree there. I thought, guys, it plays off a little bit not like a musical, but they really
it's not a musical. Yeah,
they really integrate music into the film It's kind of what the story's based on. But I liked it, man. I wasn't blown away, but I thought it was a good film, and I thought they definitely ripped off From Dusk Till Dawn and how
That's
they
going to be my main point. That's going
yeah.
to be my main
But
point. Yeah.
but yeah, it kept me entertained, man. I wanted to continue to watch it. There was no point where I was like, "Man, this sucks." You know what I mean?
Do we do out of 5 stars when we rate these movies on here? Is that what we've done? I can't remember anymore. Yeah, we do it out of 5 stars, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was
What
either
would
three or five.
what you said a 3 out of 5?
No, I think it was either 3 or 5. But yeah,
No, it's
they
5. It's 5.
yeah.
What would you rate this movie?
I would give it. I think because we're only on a scale of 5, I'd give it a 3.5.
That's exactly where I am at.
Yeah.
And yeah, Michael B. Jordan, man, he does a great job of pulling out different personalities of in those roles. Like he very you don't need the hats. The one wears the red hat, the one wears the blue.
I know
because he does such a good job of bringing out the personality of those two characters that they're very distinct, two very different people, one more stoic and one more playful, and he did an awesome job there. That was the best part of the movie probably. And yeah, the movie is based off of that musical thing where like some people can be so good at music that they like split that line, that veil, I think they called it, the line between like life and death, and can call good spirits, but it can also call bad spirits, and that's what ends up happening, right? But it's a complete ripoff of From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn is one of my favorite movies of all time, man. George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, the Gecko brothers, and it does the whole thing where it's like it's this one movie this whole time. It's like a drama, action, like that's
brothers.
what it is. And yes, and then it turns into a vampire movie like on a dime. And
it's two brothers with some music sprinkled in, and then vampires. Gee,
one brothers, one. It's exactly the same movie.
Ryan Coogler really ripped
that. One brother is more insane than the other. The other brother needs to look out for the younger.
One's in charge. One's kind of a wild card. Yeah.
It plays all those exact same beats, and instead of it being with Mexicans, it's with black people. Basically, is what it boils down to for me. And if I had to choose between watching From Dusk Till Dawn for the 30th time or watching Sinners for the second time, knowing what I know now, I would just watch From Dusk Till Dawn for the 30th time because it's a much better movie in my mind.
On a
it's
sports note, Josh Allen's girlfriend plays the only white female, or one of two white females in the film. So Josh Allen's girlfriend is in the movie. She's a looker.
She's a good character. The vampire, the lead vampire, is a good character.
I love Jack O'Connell, man. I can't believe I left that out. I'll say this, guys: the lead villain is played by an actor whom I fucking love dearly. This guy has been in a lot of things and doesn't get enough credit. He was in the first season of The Terror. He was in Northwater. He's in a boxing movie with Charlie Hunnam. I haven't watched it, but I've heard good things about, man. Jack O'Connell is a good actor. So yeah, I thought he killed that role. I thought he sings in the movie himself.
Razzle, the Wire is my favorite show of all time. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan got his start there. I don't know if he got famous from it, but he definitely, that's where he got the jump off to his career. Wire's a great show.
Once he got Creed, he took off, man. I mean, Black Panther and he.
But if you haven't watched The Wire, watch The Wire.
He's on the top of the acting world right now, man.
The Wire, it still holds up. I still watch it. Like I binge watch The Wire once a year. Usually, it still holds up. Best show of all time.
If you guys haven't watched Northwater or The Terror, the first season of The Terror, because The Terror is a different story every season, but the first season is worth watching. Check that out.
If you guys haven't watched Northwater or The Terror, you should probably watch The Wire again. That's what you should. That's what you should.
If you like the creature feature thing, man, The Terror is pretty cool. The monsters and stuff. It's cool, man. Check that out.
With Sinners, man, I thought they could have done a better job with more of the backstory. I thought it was kind of just like it was poorly executed in terms of how the music. Yeah. It was poorly executed with how the music kind of brings them to them. It was poorly executed with the backstory of the lead villain, the head vampire. It was poorly executed in those regards. There wasn't enough of I love vampire movies, man. You can give me with a vampire movie, no matter what. I fucking love them. I just
Yeah,
thought
this is
that
this is our second vampire movie review
yeah,
of our 3 movie reviews. Yeah.
it just could have been done better with that backstory. I mean, there was a part where the Native Americans kind of were chasing the vampire. I would have liked to see more of what that was and where this dude came from and why he was there. Apparently, he just why he wanted the what ended up really being the main character. Why he wanted him is because of his musical abilities and because of like his storytelling. But why? Where did that come from? And all that. I mean, it's a solid movie. I was a 3.5 too. That's what I got. I got a 3.5 out of 5. It's worth a watch, and I enjoyed it. I thought it could have been executed a little better on the vampire end of it, to be honest. But the ending is awesome. The ending
Yeah.
really pays it home. The way it ends with Smoke and how he goes about the
Yeah.
end of that movie. That's badass. I enjoyed that a lot for sure. So they really kind of pay it off at the end. Worth a watch, guys. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. Good movie, damn good performance by Michael B. Jordan, and the music is okay. It's all right. I don't see what's so special about the music that it draws evil spirits to it. To be honest, that's kind of where the music could have been better as well to kind of nail that point home to me. Like transcendent music is what you needed, I think. But yeah, it was good. It
Yeah,
was a good movie.
it's worth watching, guys. If you haven't, go check it out. It's cool. It's a cool
Yeah,
film.
it's stylish for sure. It is. It's well executed. It's well made. The characters are cool. The characters are good. Yeah, it doesn't really. There's nothing really negative to say about it. I don't think in terms
No,
of
and
like.
I love the dialogue of Jack O'Connell's character, the vampire. He's just very witty. Says a lot of, because the vampire in every film is that kind of just draws you in. You know what I mean? Like he's supposed to
Mhm.
be manipulative, but as much as
The
he is,
temptation, the
yeah,
temptation.
it's
Yeah,
tempting. And
yeah.
and how he walks up and approaches the majority of the characters towards the end of the film to cut in their leg. It's just cool, man. The dynamic that's played there, like, yeah, what the fuck are
Yeah,
you
how
doing?
they
It's
end
like,
up
what are you
standing their
doing
ground.
here? And it turns into like, hey, he's not that bad. It's like it's pretty cool, man.
What you find is the moral of that movie really is the people who stand up for what they believe in and stick with what they know is right. They end up being okay one way or the other. Really, like that don't fall for that temptation that you're talking about. That don't that they have beliefs, they have principles, and they stand on them. And at the end of
Yeah,
the
and I
day,
thought it was a
you
different
can
dynamic
live
too.
with that.
You have to, the vampires have to be invited, and like that was a interesting dynamic as well. To throw that, like I didn't quite understand that from when you first get introduced to the lead character, the lead vampire. You don't really
How did you
understand
not
that.
understand that? That is a common theme in all vampire movies. I'm confused by how
Not,
you.
not
Yeah,
in name one.
all of them, literally all of them. Have you seen? Why
Not
am I?
from Dusk Till Dawn. Not
Have you seen the
Nosferatu.
boys?
Not
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen the boy? What's the Lost Boys? Have you seen the Lost Boys?
not
Like
in like 20 years, dude.
every vampire movie I've ever watched, they need to be invited in.
Yeah,
Oh,
so don't invite him in, guys.
yeah. Don't invite in the temptation. Yeah. Hey, listen, 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5 is what me and Brandon both gave it, and it's worth watching. The bare minimum recommends Sinners. It is a good movie. It's not mind blowing. It's not the greatest movie ever, but it's a good watch, and you'll have fun watching it.
Yeah, Dustin, anything else? Oh, one piece of news that was released
Oh,
today.
you're gonna do this?
Guys, Bleacher Report did make a list of, I think it was 50. It was a big list, but I only looked at the top 10. Most
Likely to be traded
value.
players.
Well, but it also had to do with like the intrigue of each player. So like the most, so these were a list of players that the league thinks are players that will be good acquisitions to other football teams. Players that the most valued trade assets on in the NFL. Jalen Ramsey led the reigns with he was number one. Um, Hendrickson was number two, and then
Trey
at number
Hendrickson.
three, yep, and number three fell our longtime tight end here in Chicago, Cole Kmet was number three at that. So those
So
rumors continue to
around the
those.
league, people are kind of reading those tea leaves as well. Like we did last week on our show, we spent a good segment talking about how the writing might be on the wall for Cole Kmet. Not saying that he's not a good player. The fact that he is a good player means that he has value that teams would want to trade for him. So there's
Well,
that. But
and the way it was
it
written,
makes sense for the Bears to move
there's
on from him potentially if Loveland,
and if you read
is
the
what we
article,
expect him to be.
there's no source cited, but the way it's written is that the Bears are intrigued by the idea just as much as the buyers. So it's like it's something that the Bears have probably discussed is the way that it makes the reader feel.
Your choices are re-sign him for another, multi-year deal in a couple of years, a year or two, or let him walk, or get something in return for him, some kind of assets back for a player that's expendable.
While also
Those are your
getting
choices.
$11 million a year off of your books, which
Yeah,
is huge for the right now, guys. The cap going into next year is pretty ugly. I'm gonna be like every year since Ryan Poe's been here, we've been like, oh, this cap is great. The Bears are one of the best teams in the league in the
they
cap.
spent a lot of money.
It's
Yeah,
not looking that way going into next season. That's going to
and
be concerning.
you got guys coming up on deals, and that's why I was saying if one of your choices is to re-sign them, you're not going to get them on a bargain. So, like, is it even possible? Do you want your second tight end to be a $8 to $10 million a year guy? I don't think so. That doesn't make sense. From just divvying up your assets, it doesn't make sense. So,
And it
it,
sounds
it
like
makes
something Ryan. And if we're aware of this, Dustin, Ryan Poles is aware of this. It sounds like something the Bears have discussed.
Well, the market needs to be gauged for sure, and whatever happens, happens. I mean, right now we're going into the season with those two tight ends, and hopefully that's a strength of this team because of that. Hopefully, but if he performs and shows out, that only increases his trade value. So that would be good as well, because the more the Bears could get back, in terms of draft capital, the better off they are in terms of contractually and cap wise, because those are controlled contracts. If you can get a second round pick for Cole Kmet, you should do that as quickly as you can. You really should.
Absolutely. And right now, it did say a little bit about, right now the other tight end on this team is not playing. He's not
He hasn't even
healthy.
played yet. Yeah.
So that's
It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. But the Bears did draft Colston Loveland where they drafted him, expecting him to be a big contributor for this offense. That Ben Johnson wanted his guy and he got him. So we'll see where it leads, man. Again, love Cole Kmet. Hopefully he's on this team this year and plays well. But if the Bears have an opportunity to move him for something of value, and it makes sense because Colston Loveland is really performing at the level you expect him to, then I don't know how you don't do it. That's just the reality of the situation to me. That's all.
And the two teams, guys, that have been rumored to show interest are the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Interesting. The Chargers need a tight end bad for sure. They do. I see that. Who do they got running routes for them? I keep seeing on X the tight end that everybody always thinks is going to have a good Tyler Conklin. Everybody always thinks he's going to have a good season, and then he's just Tyler Conklin. He's just who he is. Like, the Chargers need an upgrade at that position desperately for sure.
Wouldn't bet on
that would make sense. Brandon, it's been a lot of fun, man. We're coming up on 2.5 hours, the bare minimum. We always have a blast here. Thank everybody. Don Burr checking in late, the Lions fan, with some Caleb Williams slander. Go hang out with PFF and shut up. Brokeback Mountain with Don Burr and PFF. But thanks for being here. Hit that like button. We appreciate you. Connor's here as well. Appreciate you. Razzle Dazzle. We had breaking news. Bruce in the building. Ant Mass was here. Bears fan for life. Real Bears fan. Shorty was in here. Vizzo Joe, one of my favorites as well, man. You guys were awesome tonight. John S.
Ant Mass popped in just to say,
I said Ant Mass. I brought him up. So yeah, man, everybody in here, thank you so much for being here. We'll be back again on Saturday, 4-Star Chicago Sports with the Northside 9. That's Sean and Kyle. Monday, we got the House Hall Hangover. All four of us will be together again. Wednesday, the Barely There podcast. And we'll be back again next Thursday for another episode of the Bare Minimum. And we'll figure out
guys,
what
check out that show. Check out that show on Saturday. It's gaining some traction. It's a Cubs show. These guys are killing it.
Thank you, John.
Cubs are becoming very relevant as the season gets, as the season goes on. We've got an all-star break and then obviously a playoff run coming. But Shota Managa is back, and Kyle and Sean will be discussing that and how that might impact
guys. I'm seeing people like post stuff like this is the best Cubs team that they've seen in their lifetime.
No, that's
The
nonsense.
Cubs won the World Series in 2016. This team is not doing very well against teams above 500. Let's just be clear
Well,
about that.
and they're hurting for
Yeah.
pitching right now.
Yeah, there's some deficiencies here, so let's not get too over our skis. It's a lot of fun. The story is great. PCA is killing it, but this is not the best Cubs team you've seen in your life, guys. We've seen better ones, and this team still has a lot to prove. They haven't won a playoff game. They haven't been into the playoffs yet. So let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Watched
Guys.
Arrieta, Lester, and Hendricks on the same team. This is not the best Cubs team you've watched in your lifetime, man. Like three potential Hall of Fame pitchers on this roster, but 5 years, like 8 years ago, no, not even close.
And just keep it in perspective is all I'm saying. It's fun, have fun, but let's let them earn that. We got a long season left here, and hopefully they can do better. But I saw a stat of something like they're 10 games over 500 against teams under 500, and they're under 500 against teams over 500. Like that's not good. That's not a good sign. Like they got to start beating good teams to be considered good. That's the way.
And they're going to have to trade for some pitching, man. That's undoubtedly going to happen. So,
well, hopefully that they're able to make some moves and improve. But again, takes some time, guys. So yeah. Saturday, Northside 9. Sean and Kyle have everything for you around the Cubs. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Even Connor. Thanks for being here. But this is the bare minimum, and we'll be back again next week. Brandon, love you, bud. Good job.
Yeah, good show. Glad we found something to talk about and more, man.
Yeah, and we'll do it again next week too. We'll see y'all next time. Thank you very much. Bear down.